tape, bro. Run the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Run the tape, bro. 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 Run the tape.
The tape.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunker down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Found guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening here inside the studio. As always, we got an absolute loaded show for you guys today. Seems that every time I close a Sunday show, news immediately happens right after. Previous Sunday, James Franklin was fired immediately as we closed the cameras on Sunday's reaction show. Yesterday, Billy Napier was cooked, fried, and dipped in grease the moment we closed the cameras yesterday. So here we are today. We got news to talk about and react to at the top of the show. We also have our Week 8 reactions from the boys. I obviously dumped the clip yesterday on a Sunday. I've had opportunities to watch some more and more film. Going to bring you some more notes on that. Week 9 games to preview as well here on the network tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Like, subscribe, and rate, review, and all that great stuff. It's already fired off in the chat. We got a bunch of people loading up in here. Make sure you're hanging out and behaving yourself tonight. Let's start with the news, boys. Billy Napier out at the University of Florida. And I tweeted about this one today. I think, I'm not a coach, but maybe one day I might be. And to me, I thought I learned a coaching, quote-unquote, lesson, something, or at least a life lesson, maybe, right? And we're going to talk about this at length tonight because I think there's another football coach in the news for this today as well in the form of Steve Sarkisian. This one, to me, is a lesson on being hard-headed as a football coach or being hard-headed as a human in general, all right, especially when the process is not leading to winning results. All right, it was very obvious to me and to everyone else watching the Florida experience over the last 2 years, particularly with regards to game day operations, managing the game, managing the clock, managing field goals, or managing special teams, managing the game within the game, the responsibilities of the head coach, the primary quality control guy at the end, the guy whose head it falls on at the final whistle. That guy was not doing his job as a head football coach. He was decently trying to do his job as an offensive coordinator and eventually got bad at that one towards the end of the run down there at Florida. And it wasn't just about how bad the game management was. It was the fact that he never really changed. Year after year, it was like, hey, man, we might need to change something. No, we don't. Hey, man, we might need to change something. No, we don't. Hey, man, for real, we might need to change something. No, we don't. Riding out, dying on the sword. All right, and getting his football team to fight, and that's important. And there's no doubt in my mind that Billy Napier is a good football coach. I think eventually he will get another opportunity. He might win his way, coordinate his way back up to the chain and get another run. I mean, Lord knows there's going to be 37 jobs open up by the end of the year, it seems like. I mean, my God, there's going to be 40 of them. And by the end of the year, it seems like his coaching cycle is churning over. So maybe he goes down and wins at another mid-major level and can play call his way and micromanage his way offensively to another head coaching job. But this applies to Steve Sarkisian to me. None of the greats do this, man. We ain't got a single national title winner that's out here calling his own plays. Not as long as I've been doing this sport, not ever. And now this really is lopsided because Nick Saban's won 12 of the last 30, it seems like, and he certainly did not call his own plays. But that kind of proves the point. Like, his whole entire tree is filled with great defensive minds, whether it be Kirby Smart, whether it be Glenn Schumann, whether it be Dan Lanning, whether it be whoever you want. It's filled with great football coaches that he entrusted to call plays, that he entrusted to do what he is doing. And here we are. We got another guy in Steve Sarkisian saying, nah, I was hired because I'm a great play caller coach. We do not pay our offensive coordinator $11 million a year. That's not what we do. We pay the head football coach $11 million. And we demand the head football coach win football games. We do not demand that the offensive coordinator win football games. It's going to fall on you, and you are spread way too thin. Guys, I had it on good authority that a source told me it got so bad down there at Florida for Billy. He was so strung out, doing so much because he's a head football coach that he wasn't even game planning. He was calling plays, meaning he would let the coordinator, whoever he self-titled the offensive coordinator, he would let that guy go out and scout the opponent, watch the film, decide how we should attack, decide how we're going to go attack, and then give him the Waffle House card, and on Saturday he go call plays. That is not a winning formula. That is not a winning way to go about calling plays and designing offense. And why was that happening? Well, because he had responsibilities as a head coach. He had to go, do all the meetings. He had to go talk to boosters. He had to go stand in front of media reporters. He had to go do, host Zooms for players. He had to go, do the local, welcome students. I'm the head football coach. I'm the highest paid employee here, so they string me out and make me do a lot of stuff. He had to do all that and call plays. You can't do it all effectively. No one has. That's the biggest lesson I continue to harp over with this one. Hugh Freeze ain't doing it all well. The only one who's doing it really, really well right now is Lane Kiffin, ironically, and he's up for this job now.
Oops. I think that we kind of said that maybe Florida waited a little too long to get rid of Billy Napier, and I think that they ultimately did, but at the same time, I feel like they probably entered into this circus of head coaching hires at probably the perfect time, because now they enter themselves as we're the best job available. All eyes are on us, and I say that because it seems like only more and more teams are potentially going to get added to this, because Mike Norvell's name is already being thrown around. Maybe potentially Brian Kelly's name is getting thrown around right now as well. So the fact that Florida, despite the fact that they waited until now, Hugh Freeze's name is being thrown around as well. That's a great addition as well. Despite the fact that they waited till over halfway through the season, still probably did it at the most opportune time to make sure that they are the top dog when this job becomes available, that we are the number one option for anybody that wants it.
Yeah, I feel like this is another lesson of, like you said, of being stubborn, but also just some coaching philosophies and some coaching styles aren't scalable. We've seen thousands and thousands of stories of group of 5 guys go up to the Power 4. Some have had success. There's a lot of examples of that, but there's also a very clear examples, and Billy Napier's one of them, of these guys get here and they're clearly drinking through a fire hose, and they clearly have way more responsibilities than they're used to. We're seeing this all across college football right now. I think Mike Norvell falls under this category, to where you can't really sustain building things through the portal. I mean, Mike Norvell, while there was a vote of confidence from FSU, I don't think he's the answer for Florida State. Luke Fickell, Scott Frost got fired in Nebraska. There's a bunch of examples of this as to where you can have success and you are a great coach at what you do, but it's not necessarily scalable at such a big level for these major programs.
Wasn't McElwain a small school guy, mid-major guy that came up to Florida? I could be mistaken.
I believe so. It's been a while.
Haven't they done this? Well, Mississippi State doesn't really count. That's SEC to SEC. Mm-hmm. It's obviously an upgrade.
Right.
But that's not like getting pulled from Memphis.
Colorado State.
Yeah, he's a Colorado State guy.
Yeah.
So, they've tried this. They're definitely going to go hire a P5 football coach. They're going to hire a quote-unquote winner at the Division I Power 5 level, which means they're going to hone their sights in on Lane Kiffin. It's not even worthy or worth talking about who are the candidates for this job. They seem to be approaching this as we're going to go make Lane Kiffin say no, which I guess the point is, the question now becomes, if you're Lane Kiffin, do you take this job? My initial thought was hell yeah. But obviously something has gone wrong over the last 4 or 5 hires for Florida. They fired Dan Mullen, which at the end of that one, I personally thought that had gotten to a point where he kind of gave up on the work. And you can't give up on the work in this profession.
No,
so
you cannot.
I was kind of out on that one. I was okay with that. I think we've come to find out Jim McElwain's just an average football coach.
Yeah.
Like he's at Central Michigan being like an average football coach. He's just okay. I think we found out that, Will Muschamp, just say what you want about how great of a defensive coordinator he's been in college football the last 20 years. I mean, he's been great. Been one of the best defensive minds there is. I think we know he's like a pretty average head football coach.
2 stops would prove that.
2 stops would prove that in the SEC, that he's just okay. He's 8-4 good. He's not 10-2 good. He's not, an elite football coach. So I think it says more about they may have selected the wrong guy than the fact that they're the wrong program is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
I think this is a football program, and it bores out. Like I got in arguments with Ole Miss people today, and I understand because we're talking about your football program as a quote-unquote lesser than Florida in this discussion, and that feels some type of way, and you're going to react some type of way and get defensive. I understand that. But here's the reality. Lane Kiffin has been a winner at Ole Miss, a tremendous winner. And he can't crack the top 15 in terms of high school recruiting rankings. And you can say, well, he likes the portal. He that's his method. That's the way he wants to go. And I would say, no, that's not. I wouldn't say any coach in their right mind wants to build out of the portal. Not coaches that I talk to. I would rather have a football player 3 or 4 years and develop him in my house. I would rather not have to and be able to scout him for multiple years throughout high school and develop a relationship with him and know who he is. And when he scales to payable growth, he did so in my house. That is the preferred method. Anybody leaning on the portal is doing so because their 5-hour radius does not allow them to recruit at a top 5 level in terms of roster talent. Oregon is this way. They have to go through the portal because how the hell else you going to sign a top 5 roster out there in Oregon? You ain't. You ain't going to high school recruit your way to that unless you go 14 blue chippers and go 15 expensive portal players. That's exactly what Oregon's doing. That's exactly what Ole Miss tried to do. It's a whole lot easier to win titles stacking 5, 6, 7 years worth of top 5 classes. I don't know, like Ohio State does, like Georgia does, like Alabama does, like Texas is trying to. Those 4 schools got a whole hell of a lot more chances and cracks at it over the last 10 years than the people doing it the other way, trying to portal their way to continued success. And I think even Lane would admit this. Me personally, he kind of alluded to this in the win against LSU. They were talking about man-to-man corner play, and someone asked him about DJ Pickett, and he said, I would love one of those. They cost about $1 million. He can't get those out of high school. LSU can. Florida can. You give Lane Kiffin top 5 annual talent, I don't know how you beat him. By the way, if he had the equal talent in that football game, he might win that one Saturday against Georgia. And I think that itches at his craw the last 2 times he's came out to this place. Mm-hmm. The last 2 times he's come to Athens, I guarantee you he has felt like, man, if I had a couple more guys. Man, if I had somewhat of a line of scrimmage battle, if I could win it sometimes, if I didn't have to give up 250 on the ground every single time I play those guys, my God, I guarantee you he's felt that the last couple times. So that makes me say, yeah, I would take this job if I were him.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what he said in 2023 after Georgia beat him by a lot. So there is definitely signs that on paper that you should take that job if you're Lane Kiffin. If you want to progress as a national championship winning head coach, Florida is likely the better job to do so. Now, with that said, you're not going to be taking over an Ole Miss roster. It's going to take a process, and we've seen before, it seems to be hard to get that process going at Florida.
Christian, you do a really, really good job of counteracting me and not being a yes man on this stage. Not saying that you do, but you do a really good job of itching me and getting me angry. What would you say that I'm wrong about this? Is there any proof in the pudding that, no, the best way to build rosters is through the portal?
No.
Okay.
Not sustainability. If you
like
want one
year
hit
over
pops,
year,
yeah.
we're trying to get cracks at a 12-team playoff that's really hard to win 16, 17 football games. So we're trying to build depth competitively over year, consistent growth, consistent results.
Mm-hmm. Now the counterpoint.
Who's doing it in the portal that way?
There's not a team that's doing it consistently. The counterpoint to that would be all of Lane Kiffin's quarterbacks have been from the portal. And they've all been pretty successful, including Trinidad Chambliss, who seems to be a guy right now. So That would be my counterpoint to that. But again, Lane Kiffin's not someone who's utilized the portal solely. He's not a Mike Norvell type guy. He's not, I'm going to build my roster 80% portal each season and then the 20% ingrown talent.
No, I think this is Lane. Like, you can't tell me Lane's not likable enough that he can't recruit. I think this is a byproduct of this is the way he knows to build the best talent roster on current situations.
Mm-hmm.
The 5-hour radius at Ole Miss indicates that historically they will not recruit inside the top 10. They just won't. Now, if they are, the NCAA's got to go look into it because Hugh Freeze is doing some funny stuff. Like that. I'm not kidding. That's just what it is. I know it sounds like a joke, but that's the history of that football program. So that's not the case at Florida. I tweeted about this today. Lane has never cracked the top 12 in terms of recruiting on an annual year-to-year basis. Billy Napier was a consistent 500 football coach at Florida and averaged top 12. Like, Lane Kiffin at Florida will recruit inside the top 5. That's just what it is. And he'll do it through high school players. And he'll do what every other great program does, which is, oh, crap, we missed on a 5-star. Salmon Pimba isn't what we thought he is. Okay, now we got to go into the portal. Oh, crap, Damon Wilson hit the portal. Now we got to go get a portal player. Oh, crap, we got running backs that got banged up or didn't pan out. Oh, crap, now we got to go get Quinshon Judkins. You see what I'm saying? That's what the great programs do consistently. So I didn't think this was an arguable stance to me, but apparently it was. I got pushback from guys I respect. Like, I still respect them. I just don't think they're right.
I mean, yeah, there's no question about it that going to Florida is an upgrade from Ole Miss in regards to this. In regards to what you are saying, like what they offer to you in the recruiting trail, how that would change his entire process, and how we're not talking about Lane Kiffin being a national title contender like they were last year for a 1-year window, and then the next year maybe they're competitive enough to be a playoff team, but probably not in that same realm that we were putting them in last year. But with that said, he had the best rosters that he had last year, and he didn't make the college football playoff, so there's that. But I also think that there's also this assumption that just because it's an upgrade that everybody would say yes, that all these coaches that you would go and target would be like, oh, yeah, of course I'll just go take the upgrade, or what we all presume to be an upgrade over at Florida. But I think sometimes that we forget that maybe guys are just happy where they're at. Maybe he is content with just being the Ole Miss head coach, and he loves it there that much.
By the way, for reference, in the 4 years that Lane Kiffin was at USC, he averaged a 7th-ranked recruiting class and had 2 top 3 classes. So he can do it.
Yeah, but the portal wasn't around then. He would have chosen experienced Rena players then. That's what he would have done. That's what Ole Miss beat reporters have told me. Which, by the way, that's what he's been selling to them, so they should believe that. If I were sitting in those rooms listening to his speeches every single week, I'd probably believe that's his preferred method too, because that's the method he's got to choose currently to win. So I'm not pushing back on those guys. I'm just saying from an outsider standpoint, 360 viewpoint, when he's got resources, when he's got proximity to talent, the dude's very, very likable, and he recruits high school talent. And that is what wins consistently. Now, you might spike a 9-3, a 10-2 off the portal, but if you want to go win 16 games and go win a national title, you got to stack blue chippers and keep them year over year. Caden Curry doesn't happen if that kid is, at Ole Miss. You see what I'm saying? Like the Caden Curry thing at Ohio State, where that kid's been sitting on the bench, the Kenyatta Watson situation, Jackson maybe, the defensive end, the Kenyatta Jackson situation up there at Ohio State, that shit don't happen. If you portaling, that stuff don't happen. Those are 4-star, 5-star blue chippers that been stowed away in the cupboard, developing, putting weight on for 3 years, playing spot reps. Like, come on, man. Get out of here. Ain't nobody trying to do it out of the portal consistently. If it's not Lane, it's either Brent Key, James Franklin, or Eli Drinkowitz. And I don't think Florida fans like either of those options.
I was going to say.
I think they're setting themselves up for potential failure if he says no.
Well, I think you brought up a good point, though, of having James Franklin in that discussion, because I think if Lane says no, that's who they should hire.
That's who they should hire, and I think they're going to dislike that.
Part of your salary is already comped by, assuming that, because of the $8 million thing, if it's less than that, then they comp the other part, all that good stuff. So, I think that you could get a relatively maybe good deal in hiring James Franklin, and that way you don't feel maybe as tarnished if that one doesn't work out to where, and I know that sounds terrifying of you would get another guy that is established at the Power 4 level that would come to your program and not work out. But I'm just speaking in terms of if you can't get your top option, James Franklin probably isn't that bad of a plan B.
And by the way, James Franklin kind of has this stigma that he can't win the big game, which statistically there's proof for that. It's not like Lane Kiffin's been out here just taking down and slaying top 10 Giants throughout his career. That's kind of been the crux of Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss football, is like they're really, really good, and then they lose on the road to top 10 teams. So it'll be very interesting if they lose this weekend at Oklahoma, to where it's like, okay, we have James Franklin, a guy that can never win the big game, and here's Lane Kiffin, a guy who just lost 2 big games in a row, and by the way, is always good for we just lost to an unranked Florida team. What the hell?
What if all these quote-unquote coaching candidates for these open jobs, what if all of them dud out? Matt Rule just did it at Minnesota. What if Lane goes down the drain, pun intended, the last couple weeks? I mean, he did it last year. I love Lane, but there are I love him. I think he's the best offensive coordinator in the sport. I think he's the best play caller in the sport. I think he's tremendous. I think he has a great staff too. I think if you gave that guy top 5 talent, he would be undeniable. That being said, all my thoughts about that make no sense when you look at Kentucky last year and you look at Florida last year.
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
Exactly.
It makes zero sense.
And like right now, Lane Kiffin's stock is as high as it's ever been, because you just watch what they did
but
against
it was
Georgia.
last year at this time. I mean, it's super high. Very. Lane Kiffin, better PR agent than Lincoln Riley? Some are saying. Just kidding. I think Lane's a better football coach.
I agree with
I think
that.
he's far more likable, too, and that's the most important thing. And people are saying he would be crazy to turn down Florida for this job, or turn down Florida for Ole Miss. As someone who is, conquering sobriety, like, if he thinks that has anything to do with the reason he's off the sauce, he don't need to be messing with that. So I'll leave it at that. Not to get too personal there. But there are other reasons there. He's got it built. Why go rebuild it? Who's to question why, whether or not you can do it at Florida? There's reasonable questions there. Whether or not the AD is the right guy. You know what I mean? You could look up midway through your run and the AD might be cooked. That's pressure.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of pressure. Hey, Super Chubb just mentioned the whisper. For the Florida. Say it. That hurts your larynx. Let's get into our Week 8 reactions.
We might as well just go straight to the whisper after that.
You want to go straight to the Friday Night Whisper?
We might have to.
Boy, he was shouting on Friday night, wasn't he?
Oh, boy.
Woo! Jeff Brom and them Louisville Cardinals smacking around them Miami Hurricanes. Early, I look up. I'm like, damn, honey, we got to go turn that one on. It's 14-0. I'm trying to take a mental break from this here foosball on Friday night. Hurricanes blowing it. Got to go watch it.
One of my first takeaways from this game, and I know that this isn't something that Jeff Brom has labeled as himself, but others have, is Miller Moss throws his first interception of the game, and they pan over to Miller Moss and Jeff Brom on the sidelines. That dude is MFing him and screaming in his face for like 2 minutes. Oh, yeah. He
QB
was
screamer.
livid.
QB shouter?
Yeah, he's no longer the QB whisperer.
So that makes that bit way more dislikable for the audience. QB screamer, Jeff Brom?
Oh, I think
I don't know if our
enough.
audience wants us to scream Miller Moss's name.
I think they're okay with us whispering that one.
For sure.
I think they like this more. I scream enough on this network. Don't make me QB screamer.
But my biggest gripe with this, or really with how Miami lost this game, and I think that you guys feel the same way. I know that, at least I'm sure that you do, Brooks, of the idea, and I was screaming it too when Dusty Dorvacek was saying on the final drive when Miami has the ball to go tie the game. Yeah, usually is fantastic, but I disagree with him very much on this last drive when Miami is already in field goal range. And he is saying that they need to go take a shot, that Carson Beck needs to be throwing the ball and getting this ball in the end zone to go win it, despite the fact that their quarterback has already thrown 3, really 4 at this point in time in the game because one got taken off. 4 interceptions, and we want to go throw the ball in this situation, and what do you know? A turnover happens and you lose the game because of it. I say go to overtime. You had all the momentum. I say go to overtime and win it at home.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys a story about how football team with 4 NFL future starters on the offensive line can't run the football. It happened last year at Georgia. It's happening right now at Miami. They get into football games. They have a home game against Louisville. They rush 63 yards. Completely one-dimensional in the second half of football games. And guess what happens? They get teed off on. The edge rushers getting upfield, getting after this guy. And guess what happens to the quarterback? Frantic, starts throwing interceptions. I mean, I've seen this script. I like a great offensive line. The offensive line will probably win the Joe Moore Award if the Joe Moore Award is out here doing their job. all that being said, no different than Georgia's last year. They got 4 guys on that unit last year that got drafted. 3 of them right now are starters in the NFL playing great ball. And they were getting stuffed against SEC football teams. Same thing happening right here, in my opinion. Now, we could talk about the interceptions. That's also a Carson Beck thing. Like, that just happens. That will happen once in a blue moon, and you just better hope that you rock fight your way to a win. Georgia found their way to do it sometimes. But Florida last year, prime example. Just look up, and you're like, what is this guy doing? Who is this? Who is this playing quarterback right now? That's not the same guy. That's what happened Friday night, but they had no run game, and I've seen this script. I know what happens. You just get boxed up in the run game because your quarterback's not a threat, and that's a problem. He'll be a really, really good pro because you don't have to do all this stuff with your legs. But in college, you have to, or else your run game becomes anemic.
Anything?
I mean, it's the classic 2024 Beck meltdown that you could not have at Miami, and that was kind of what we were worrying about. And also, like, some of this does go on Mario Cristobal, I feel like, because, the management in that fourth quarter was not good. I agree with Jay. Well, I don't know why you're throwing the ball there, even on wheel routes or out routes.
Yeah.
Take the ball out of the hands of the guy who's turned it over 3 times already. So
he had like 2 more turnover-worthy throws probably that didn't get picked off.
Absolutely.
Now, a couple of those were insane plays from Louisville.
Yeah,
One of which, probably an OP or a DPI. I thought the first interception of the game was defensive pass interference. He hooks him. He arm hooks him right before the safety comes over the top and makes a play. But all that being said, like that script I've seen happen where the defense from the opposing team comes out with a chip on their shoulder and stuffs the hell out of the run game, and now you become one-dimensional. And that ain't going to win. And
on the flip side for Louisville, they were able to run the ball at will. I mean, anytime both of their running backs, anytime they touched the ball, it feels like they were ripping it for at least 8. And they were consistently doing that, and that's what helped them kind of put that game away outside of the game-sealing interception. But, I mean, I think perhaps my biggest takeaway, unfortunately, from this game is that I just don't think that Carson Beck is ever going to figure out this whole PR thing of helping, like, especially in a year like this where everything is going right for us. Like, we're back in the Heisman race. We're back in the first-round NFL draft discussion. Like, everybody is talking about how great Carson Beck looks this year, and that's great. That's exactly what you wanted out of this year if you are Carson Beck. But as soon as something falls off from us, and as soon as like something bad happens, we get smacked in the face and we throw a game-losing interception, we want to go in front of the microphone and throw one of our teammates under the bus. I just don't think we're ever going to figure it out because that's something you can't do in that situation. It's so much easier to say, bad decision by me, shouldn't have done that, can't have 4 interceptions in a game.
I think he's made 2 absolute critical no-nos. Like, have to question whether or not I can give you $100 million and put you in front as the face of our organization type of no-nos. That one right there, can't ever do that. No. Throw a game-losing interception, you swallow it. Because who are you doing that for other than Yahoo on Twitter? Because guess what? The NFL scout's going to call your offensive coordinator and ask. He's going to go through that game with you at the combine. Like, why are you defending yourself right now post-game? Because, horrible, eat it. It's your fault. It's always your fault. That's why they pay you $4.5 million. All right, so that's first and foremost. The other one I was in the room for, and I understand that we were very misquoted and we were kind of, saying it as like a half stance. Obviously, you watch film and you watch a lot of ball, but you can never, ever, ever stand in front of a microphone as a quarterback and tell the world that you don't like watching football. You can't say that. We talked about this last year. You can't ever say that. Even if you're talking about, I don't watch TV copy. You should. You might pick up signals. You might pick up calls. You should because you should be obsessed with it. That's why you should. Like, if I'm going to give you $100 million, you better be obsessed. And that's what you're trying to be. So, we can't do these things. They're 2 critical, absolute PR nightmares that you can't make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that I'm sure there's other examples, but like there's one person right now that I can think of that has gotten away with the I don't watch ball remark and the I don't really love this remark, I'm just really good at it, and it's Anthony Edwards. But Carson Beck is not of the confidence of the – and Anthony Edwards is way more likable as well, let's be honest. Like that guy is – people are attracted to him despite the things that he says in front of a microphone, probably the wrong things that he says in front of a microphone, but – Anthony Edwards is somewhat of an anomaly in that. Like we can't say those things. I agree.
All right, there was another massive football game this weekend. Obviously, it was the 3rd Saturday in October, boys. And man, first question I have on this: obviously, Alabama wins their 4th straight ranked opponent, wins over their 4th ranked opponent in a row. First team to do so in like 50 years without a bye. relatively impressive.
Very
kudos,
impressive.
Kudos to Alabama there. I mean, that's insane. And the quarterback play is insane. We've been talking about it on this network for 4 weeks now, a month. I don't think there's been a bigger Ty Simpson fan club than old Bama Brooks right here. So much so I've been labeled Bama Brooks. My question to you guys is, did you think those two football teams were as close as I did? I thought that game was 17 points of a net difference and 14 points swing happened on one play.
Yeah. That's literally what I
That's
have in
how
my
I
notes
felt.
is it felt like Alabama controlled the game for the most part, and they did on the scoreboard and all that, but
I felt like only on the scoreboard.
that's what I'm saying. But
like field position, moving the ball, defense showing up. I felt like those two teams, if you just watched the all 22 and didn't see the pick six, you'd be like, that game was a 3-point game. It wasn't. And I thought that was only because of one play. And they won that one play.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy to do if this happens, but you have to wonder how differently that game turns out if it's 14-16 at halftime instead of 7-23. Like, I even said when I was like, oh, Bama just won this game. There's nothing Tennessee can do to overcome that. Like,
now,
that
look,
big momentum swing.
Whether they won it by 3 points or 17 points, it's one-score league. They did what they needed to do to win.
Bama,
I'm not demeaning the win. Alabama is the best team in the conference right now. If you made me power rank them, I would go Alabama 1, probably A&M 2, and Georgia 3, just because I like to give them dogs something to eat on. But that's it. You know, I think they're the best team in the conference right now. But that being said, I think Tennessee's one of the better football teams in the conference.
For sure.
Especially as they continue to get healthier.
Had you told Tennessee fans before this game that Joey Aguilar is going to throw for more yards than Ty Simpson and Deshaun Bishop is going to rush for 123 yards, Tennessee fans really like their chances in that matchup because, at least for me, heading into this game, I have no doubt that Tennessee is going to be able to keep up pace offensively with Alabama. And by the numbers, how that sounds, you would think that, yes, they kept up pace with Alabama. But you make a crucial mistake in the red zone and closing in the second half. And, I mean, yeah, you talk about momentum flips. That's the definition of it. You went from almost scoring a touchdown, like guaranteed points no matter what, and you walked away with 0 while they walked away with 7.
Alabama won that game for 3 reasons. They had the best quarterback, 1. They made the best play, 2. And they had the best non-quarterback related player in Yanze Pierre on the field.
Yeah.
Those 3 reasons. And they won it by 17. Yanze Pierre, if edges were treated like quarterbacks, Quay Rousseau would already be in the portal. That kid is playing ball.
Yeah, he is.
We pointed it out on the film study going into that weekend.
Yeah.
And he went well beyond my expectations even from that. I mean, such a smooth mover. Obviously got tremendous genetics out there in that family as well. Nephew of former edge rusher Courtney Upshaw out there. So
I guess
tremendous genes.
Really the only downside I would say from this game for Tennessee is that now you already have 2 losses and you got to get through Oklahoma and Vanderbilt now. And say what you want about Vanderbilt. But
still funny to hear.
It's legit.
It's true.
Though.
It's true, though. It's just funny to hear.
Y'all want to go there? Let's go ahead and transition to that. Vandy did beat a top 10 football team this weekend. And you can say what you want about LSU. That's a talented, roster. They got far more talented football players on paper than what Vandy got going on. And Vandy whipped them at the line of scrimmage for 4 quarters.
It did it without a home field advantage. Did you see that place?
Yeah, it was white.
Yeah,
it was very, very
and I understand
white.
Nashville's a place that everybody wants to go. So I'm not.
Nashville is lit, I've been told.
The vibe.
It's a vibe. Sorry.
That's not me taking a shot at Vanderbilt. That's just making your win even more impressive of the fact that, like, you didn't even have a daunting road environment for LSU to play against. Like, you just straight up beat these guys. And you want to talk about a team that just kind of felt like they maintained control for the entirety of the game. That's how it felt for me watching this one. LSU kept it close, but anytime LSU got the ball, I was like, well, I don't know how the heck they're going to go score points right now because I thought Vanderbilt was playing great defense. The biggest part for me was LSU was not able to sustain drives at all in this game, where on the flip side, Vanderbilt was. Even if they weren't coming in with points, they're doing what Vanderbilt does and why they're such a difficult team to beat of. If they have the possession and they're winning the time of possession, it's so hard to beat them.
Man, they just got whipped by an offensive line unit that's playing really, really well, a dual-threat quarterback with some triple option and some RPO game. Whew! Tough, they got to go play Texas A&M next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, get up off the mat, defense. You got to go play arguably the best rushing attack in the sport right now. Whew. Rough.
And I mean, I feel like
go ahead, but I want our tone on Brian Kelly. We got to be tight here. We got a lot left in terms of previews. I think the Brian Kelly thing is a far more interesting topic that needs to be discussed. where are you at on this one? Here's where I'm at. He's very clearly not the guy. It seems like he's not the guy to me right now, but he's not spiraling. It's not terribly embarrassing, and it's a cycle that's going nuts. Who's to say what you're going to get at this point? That being said, that job comes open. I bet Dan Lanning comes sniffing around.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
I bet everybody comes sniffing around because they think. I think that job is a top 4, top 5. How in the hell are you not in a playoff type of job? That's a type of job where you fire him in December and watch the sharks start swimming.
Yeah,
There's
I feel
probably.
like.
Sorry.
I feel like Brian Kelly's going to start getting the James Franklin treatment where it's kind of, we're not going to be happy about you, but we're not going to have enough to fire you until you start losing these egregious games. Like, as bad of a loss as Saturday was and as out-of people are in Brian Kelly, it was a top-ranked team. Like, it was a top loss on the road.
Kirby was Vandy.
I know, but it was like we all said, like we all agree, that's a top 15 team this year. That's a good football team. It's not like he's going out and dropping games to the UCLA equivalent, which would be Kentucky. Like, you're not having these, oh, my God, he's got to go. Like, that was the nail in the coffin type moment.
I think if you're an LSU fan, you're sitting here year 4 of Brian Kelly, you're 5-2. The meat of your schedule is still ahead of you. You've lost to Vanderbilt and you've lost to Ole Miss. And you've beaten a really bad Clemson football program that has appeared to be fraudulent at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're not happy.
No.
You're not happy. Now, that being said, you also signed this guy to basically a 10-year contract when you hired him. So that is insane.
But
that's on you, and you're going to wear that one. And I think you're going to have to, sit here with it for a second.
What I wanted to add to that is, I would say, just off of the top of my head right now, I'd say there's 3 coaches you could say right now that, without a doubt, don't take that job. It'd be Kirby Smart, Kalen DeBoer, and Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Everybody else, and sure, there's slim chances of why would Mike Elko leave Tech, all those things, but there's only really 3 definite no's that I would say right now of don't even consider it. They stay where they are because they love where they are. Everybody else, I think that you could at least say yeah, there's a world where that happens. There's a world where LSU is more enticing than that, where they could lure that guy away.
Hot take. Is there a possibility that someone might, oh, I'm taking this job. Oh, never mind. Get me out of it. I'm going here. Because that job opened up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There very well could be a guy that signs up to take a job verbally or takes a job, and then a better job comes open because somebody else, Oregon all of a sudden comes open. Holy hell. Dan Lanning's at LSU. Don't think it'll happen. But I'm just saying, if it did, somebody's good. If one of these big jobs comes open, another big job comes open because the big job just got let.
I mean, I think
Nebraska will be open.
I think you essentially just described how Kirby Smart ended up at Georgia.
Basically.
Not as official as that.
Would have been at South Carolina, ended up at Georgia because Mark Richt gets fired in December.
Was maybe hours away from taking the South Carolina job, but then, Mark Richt's gone. Georgia's open. Sorry, South Carolina. You basically just described that. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. And I said, I think we're getting close to where we are oversaturating this head coaching market. So someone is bound to get screwed over all of this, in my opinion. You thought that maybe you opened up at the right time.
It'll probably be Auburn.
It probably will be. You're exactly right.
I don't need to laugh at them. I feel so bad for that fan base, man. They didn't even make the notes. Shout out to Vandy. We talk too much about LSU being a debacle. I think the craziest thing about the LSU thing is that it's a different problem every year.
Yeah.
It's a different problem every year.
You fix one and then something else breaks.
Yeah. It's just weird. Very, very weird. Let's talk about Notre Dame. I thought they won the line of scrimmage for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Dominated.
And I think that we kind of got...
Despite quarterback ups and downs. Hey, Notre Dame fans, not to be a told you so. I'm not a told you so guy. But y'all beat me with a damn hammer for 6 weeks on the CJ Carr train. I finally hop on it, and, that looked goofy in the goal line. That was crazy.
Yeah, 2 things. I think, one, we finally got a litmus test of just how good is this USC defense. How good are they on the line of scrimmage? They're just okay. They're nothing that,
I drive a big truck.
And then on the flip side, boy, isn't it amazing what happens when Jeremiah Love gets 24 touches in a game?
What?
Goes for over 200 yards.
And you know what? We feed the horse, and the other stallion starts to eat too.
What do you know?
You know what? Fresh enough to take a punt return back. Jadarian Price, stock up.
Man, it's crazy what happens when you give your best player the most amount of touches on a Saturday.
Give him the rock.
what do you know? He goes nuclear, and he's basically the exact reason why you win that game. So thank goodness we have finally gotten to see this a couple of times now from Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think USC lost this game just because of their fourth quarter performance. I mean, the score was 24-27 in the fourth quarter. Here's how the next 4 USC drives went. Interception, fumble, turnover on downs, interception.
Game.
Like, that was it. Like, that is a horrible way to end the game. And I know that for as much as Notre Dame gassed them all game, USC was also getting explosive. They were chunking the ball down the field. Jay Maeva was playing very good football. They were staying in that game.
Chat got it. Auburn sucks. I think Notre Dame's back.
Oh,
Did y'all see the defense? Did y'all see the type of defense that they were playing?
No.
Kendall Fuller back healthy, number 15. Strap, an absolute strap. Christian Gray still doesn't quite look like himself. Massive interception late. Guys, they're back to playing man-to-man. They're back to in-your-face bump and run. They're back to mixing a little cover 3. They're back to pressure in the box. They're back to helping out their run game. Notre Dame might be back. Now, we won't know because the rest of the schedule's some poo, but maybe Pitt gives them a run. Maybe. That's what we're hoping for. Hey, man, the rest of these SEC teams get an absolute gauntlet, but maybe Pitt will give them a run.
I was about to say, I guess they're officially now a playoff team. Like, that's all they had to do,
Whoa.
other than avoid another Northern Illinois happening.
Don't give them the curse. Don't give them the curse. Brooksy said they're a playoff team. Miami goes down. Brooksy said they're a playoff team. Oregon goes down. Brooksy says they're a playoff team. Notre Dame on upset alert.
Is Notre Dame a playoff team, Brooks?
I already tweeted it.
Oh, okay.
It's in the ether.
Oh, all right.
It's in the ether. She done.
We have typed out confirmation.
We also have almost 1,000 people watching. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Hammer it. Hammer it. Like I hammered Hugh Freeze this weekend. My God. Absolutely cooked that fraud. South Carolina, what do you think? That Oklahoma game was yuck fest. By the way, I have never seen a football program go so quick and fade so fast on their football coach this quickly. 3 weeks ago, he set the record for fastest wins to 35, or fastest to 35 wins as the head football coach in that program. Passed the old ball coach right there. All right, out there at South Carolina. They ready to fry him.
Yeah, I mean,
they're ready to fry him after a postgame press conference in which his offense has averaged 13 points in conference play. There's no doubt about it. There's no defending it. So, yeah, go in there, coach. Take your lumps. Take your tough questions. I'm with you. Don't be too sensitive. That being said, this is a chippy football coach. This is what he does. Yeah. Whether you like it, whether you dislike it, whether you like the soundbite, whether you hate the soundbite, whether it's after a win, whether it's after a loss, this dude be yapping. And he is a very passionate and emotional football coach at the microphone postgame, so much so that he broke his foot on a bench last year. So, like, this is who this guy is. You got to love him in his highs and love him in his lows.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you get with Shane Beamer, because he's the most lovable coach in college football when he's winning, and everyone wants to see him succeed, and he's one of the most unlikable when he's losing, and he's losing a lot right now, and it's really, really spiraling for him.
And it also goes back to, I asked him this question at what SEC media?
That was 2023
media days.
3 SEC media days ago, his second year as a head football coach at South Carolina. I asked him, hey, like, what type of benefit does it create, and what type of negatives do you have as a football coach knowing that you've never been a coordinator on either the offensive side and the defensive side of the football? Now, his answer was, I've been a special teams coordinator, so that gives me a benefit because I've actually been the only type of coordinator that's ever stood up in front of the actual whole team. It's a really, really good answer on the spot, and that's awesome. That's awesome for him, and I'm sure he had that one ready and teed up. But the reason I asked that question, and the reason I have that question about him as a football coach, is because if you don't know either one of those sides of the ball at an elite high level, not I coach tight ends at Oklahoma and Georgia level. I'm talking about, like, you call plays, you've been a great one on that side of the ball. You have no ability to be the final say as a quality control guy on one's half of the whole roster. We could talk about and joke about how special teams is 1/3 of the football team. It ain't. It ain't. It might be 1/3 of the snaps. It ain't 1/3 of the core reasons why we win. Half of the reasons why we win is one of the sides of the ball. And if you can't be the final say quality control guy on one side of the ball, then, man, we really got to have really, really good hiring processes on both sides. And he's been good at hiring defensive guys. That guy's been there the whole time he's been there. But he's not been good on the offensive side of the ball. He hit goal once with Dow Loggett, so much so that the dude's winning at App State now as the head football coach. This is a real, real concern when you're out here hiring guys that have never called plays. I felt this way about Sam Pittman. Like, Sam Pittman's a great CEO. That's awesome. But, like, he struck out sometimes in his hiring processes. And that's the job. The job is to make sure that the other 95 guys in the building are great at what they do. It goes back to that whole conversation we had earlier about you being the number one quality control guy in the building. You got to be so good at leadership control and quality control that everybody else is great at their job. You can't just be good at yours.
And the one quick note I have on this is it's exactly what I said in the offseason of watch how quickly this thing could sour on all these South Carolina fans when you have one more year of the most talented quarterback that you have ever seen at this program and you have a disappointing season. That's all it will take, and that's all it has taken so far.
We cooked Auburn hard. We cooked Hugh hard on Sunday. We're good there. Byers and A&M, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Mike Norvell, absolute yuck. Yuck. Fireable.
God,
yuck, but can't buy them out. ACC schools trying to get their way out of a league contract. You can't do that. I feel the same way about Dabo. I know he's on the notes. I feel the same way there. You stuck there. You ain't going nowhere. That buyout next year decreases to a whole whopping $57 million. You sitting there with that one. Texas, Kentucky, we've seen that game. We've seen that game 100 times. I've joked about it plenty. Let's get into our Week 9 previews, guys. There's some great football games. First and foremost, if you're a Big Ten fan watching right now, which we got you, y'all are out there. Y'all exist. You're in the chat. I mean, hell, there's 1,000 of you basically hanging out in here tonight. Welcome to it. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Hammering the live show numbers, boys. Hammering them right now. Tremendous stuff. But if you're a Big Ten fan, if you're a Big 12 fan, if you're anything other than an SEC fan right now, you're going to call me an SEC bias homer, and that's fine. I am, because this is premier ball. You know how I know? We're Week 9 into college football, and we're about to preview the 4 biggest games in college football, and all 4 of them are SEC football teams and SEC matchups. Don't tell me and complain why we're not talking about Oregon. Why are we not talking about Oregon? Because they're a 33.5-point favorite against a conference opponent this weekend. Why are we not talking about Indiana? Because they're a 24.5-point favorite against a conference opponent this weekend. Why are we not talking about Michigan State? Because they're a 14.5-point favorite at home this week, or on the road this weekend. You know why we're not talking about the 4th-ranked Big Ten football team? Because somehow, some way, Illinois is still ranked at this point, and they're a road dog at Washington this weekend. So we're going to talk about this here, SEC, and I hope you don't call us bias hacks for it.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Put that one down. Ole Miss at Oklahoma, boys. Big time football game. Get off the mat game for the Rebels. Oklahoma just had theirs, right? Take a pretty embarrassing loss in Red River, go on the road to Columbus, South Carolina, walk out with a pretty controlling and convincing win. I thought it was key for Oklahoma to at least establish some balance offensively. We know Napier still probably not 100% himself. They actually got off to some run game success in this football game, guys, that didn't involve his legs. So that's good stuff right there for Oklahoma going into this matchup against an Ole Miss football team that we know can't stop a nosebleed in the run game right about now.
Ooh, there's a lot of gashing done on that defensive side. I kind of labeled this game as the spiral game because if you look at these two programs, 3 weeks ago they were undefeated inside the top 5. Someone's walking away from this matchup with 2 losses in the last 3 weeks. It might be 2 losses in a row if you're Ole Miss, to where things could very quickly come crashing down if you do not win this game. So I think that's kind of the major point for me is like, wow, if you don't win this game, if you're Oklahoma or if you're Lane Kiffin or if you're Ole Miss, there is a lot to take in, and there's a long way to go on this schedule because there's still a lot of meat left on the bone for both of these teams.
Got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
What would make me hold my breath this week as an Oklahoma fan is this is the first opponent of the season for you where you think you might have to keep pace with an offense. All the other opponents that you've gone up against, you walked into that one where you're like, we can defense our way no matter what to a win here. Even against Texas, it's probably how you felt because you knew that John Mateer wasn't 100%. And a lot of people came into that game with a talking point of, I think Oklahoma's defense is good enough to where they can win this game no matter what. You just didn't happen to that day. This one, on the other hand, as many times as Brent Venables is going to have answers for Lane Kiffin's offense, Lane Kiffin is going to have just as many answers. That's how it is. So it would make me hold my breath.
Hey, that's the key to this football game, or at least what I'm watching. These are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
This defensive coordinator old Brett versus offensive coordinator old Lane Train. I mean, I wonder how many times Venables can lie and get away with it and how many times Lane can slit his throat. That's the matchup in this football game, and it's already off to a hot start. Did you see the quotes today? Lane done accused him of sign stealing. Lane done say, I don't know what he done. He done a lot of film study, done a lot of sign stealing. Hell, I had to text you after the game, said, damn, dude's got your signs. Safety's jumping the slant Well, Coach, I think safety's jumping the slant because they run RPO slant like 100 times this week. So there's that. But, that's me. He's a sign stealer, Paul.
Hey, that's legal now. You can do that.
I mean, what signs we stealing when you in the helmet comms, big dog?
That's fair.
True. And I think also, too, what kind of plays in this for Oklahoma is like in prior games, you would walk into this one and say, oh, well, it's Ole Miss on the road. Like Oklahoma, they got a chance. Well, they just went on the road against Georgia and put up 35-plus points. I mean, that doesn't make you feel too good, like banking on the fact that it's a road game for Ole Miss, that you're going to be better defensively on top of that.
Yeah, there's reasons why each team should feel good heading into this game, and there's reasons why each team should necessarily feel bad. I feel like if you're Ole Miss, you're very confident in your offense. Even though it wasn't a losing effort last week against Georgia, you are very, very confident in your ability to put up points against an Oklahoma defense. If you're Oklahoma's defense, I feel like you're looking around at the same point and saying, we've got a better defense than Georgia right now. We'll be able to slow them down. We'll be able to stop them at some point. They're not going to be perfect on third down and score touchdowns in every single possession they have in the first half against us. So I would honestly say that Oklahoma right now at this point, and by the way, they're at home as well, has a bit of an advantage here.
I wonder how loaded that injury report comes out for Ole Miss.
It hasn't been that loaded this year.
I'm talking about after that one, though.
That
was a tough football game.
That's a
tough emotional loss. That's a hard to get up off the mat football game. I think we'll learn a lot about them in terms of, I think they're a playoff team. I think they're good enough to be one. I think they're better than Oklahoma. I think they're more well-balanced than Oklahoma.
For sure.
I don't know if they're consistently more well-balanced than Oklahoma. That being said, I don't know if they win. I can't trust this at this point. It's the traveling thing. They marked a big box or checked a big box for me, though, this past week. To go on the road against a defense that I believe in Georgia's. I know their fan base doesn't, but I believe in them. I believe in their ability to make adjustments. I believe in their ability to eventually stop you. And that's what happened in that football game. But you travel and score 38 points. I'm no longer going to sit here and say, well, this offense doesn't travel. Well, this year it did. This year it has. They overcame multiple turnovers from a young quarterback on the road at Kentucky.
Yep.
I don't think most people do that.
Nope.
We just watched it for Texas. They didn't have any turnovers and got out of there barely alive. Ole Miss got out of there relatively convincingly. I didn't think Kentucky was going to win that game.
Yeah, and I mean, while Oklahoma was able to get the run game going against South Carolina, I know that Ole Miss had success shutting down the run against LSU this year, which I know your counterpoint to that is going to be, well, who hasn't this year against LSU? But, I mean, Oklahoma's been bad running the ball this year. So that they're kind of in that realm of LSU. So I would just say, I wouldn't bank on the fact that you're going to be able to run the ball against Ole Miss just because a really good Georgia run game had success.
I just wish Pete Golding would just line up and let those guys fit gaps. They do so much twisting in the run game. It's so insane. Like, dude, you got a 6'8", 330-pound three-tech. Just let him stack the guard.
Right.
Don't open up B gap because you want to take him and get all fancy, bro. Just line up and get off the rock. Like, what? It's just crazy to me what these guys do sometimes in the run games to try to create havoc, when in reality, all you need to do is get to 2nd and 8. Because if we get to 2nd and 8, we might get to 3rd and 8. And if we get to 3rd and 8, we might get off the field. But instead, they're in 3rd and 4. Why? It's just because they're averaging 6.5 yards a tote today, Coach. It's crazy to me. I think especially in this game against Oklahoma, if they just fit the run, if they just line up and play ball, they'll keep them under 120 yards rushing, and they might win the football game because of it. So I think that's the major key there. But I can't wait to watch the chess match into that one. Already started with Lane getting his comments out. Last week it was Coach is fat. This week is Coach is a cheater. Last week he's fat. This week he's a cheater. Hopefully he can get a dub.
Never sleep on an ability for Lane Kiffin to troll an opposing coach.
Absolutely. By the way Brent Brett steals signs, legal. Advanced scouting, not. It's always been the take there.
Speaking of Sleeper, we should probably give a shout out to our friends over at Sleeper.
This guy's a baller.
Use promo code Brooks today and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's use for details. If you're wondering what Sleeper is, if you haven't been paying attention to the show since the season started at this point, Sleeper is the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. I know we all use it, had a lot of fun doing so. Are you up this season?
Oh, I'm so up, baby.
Hey, there you go.
I'm always up. You see the smile on this guy's face? I'm always up.
So yeah, be sure to head over to Sleeper. Use promo code Brooks today. You'll get a 100% match on your first deposit. Are they still doing the $20 deal as well?
They are. They are.
I don't have the details on that. Would you mind sharing that with them?
Oh, I'm so up. You go sign up today. You get $20. It's that simple.
Easy.
You go in, you log in, you get free 20. You get a free dub. Now, whether or not you actually get a W in the win column, that's up to you and your picks over there at Sleeper. That's your new job, by the way. That's yours.
Cool.
I am too ADD. I think I'm locked in when I'm not thinking about that.
Sounds good.
I think I am best when I am out here just getting to work. You know what I mean? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, getting to work in the chat. Speaking of getting to work, Alabama at South Carolina. This one, to me, guys, is all about whether or not South Carolina has a fight left in them. In the day and age of college football like this, very rare does a football program like South Carolina enter a season thinking, this is our chance. We got a great quarterback. Nick Harbor focused on football this offseason. We got an offensive line that's returning a bunch of young starters that have promise. Hey, defense, Jalen Kilgore coming back. We got pieces. We got a quarterback. We got a chance. No, you don't. 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in, it's very clear that you do not. And now a roll, steam ahead, roll tide football team comes to town. And if you don't get up off the mat, man, it could get ugly in this football game.
Now, with that said,
be quick here, boys.
These are the games that Kalen DeBoer has struggled with.
Spooky Cocktober, you say?
No, that has nothing to do with that. I don't care that it's Cocktober.
You don't believe in Cocktober?
I believe in the fact that unranked matchups have been kind of the Achilles heel of Kalen DeBoer's head coaching career. This is one of those. So I don't think that South Carolina has much of a chance in this game either, but I've said that multiple times about an Alabama game going in this one as with Kalen DeBoer as a head coach. And this is also secondary that despite how much the defense has struggled this year, they create turnovers. So if they can find a way to do that, there's certainly a realm where they're able to keep this one close.
Yeah, no, on paper, Alabama should absolutely destroy South Carolina. And like you said, if this doesn't happen quickly, and if South Carolina can't keep the crowd involved for the first 2 drives, it's going to get ugly fast. But like you said, Joe, there is some avenue for South Carolina to pull this off. Lenore Sellers is still a very talented quarterback. They still have talented options on that offense. I don't think there's a way for South Carolina to do it, but the avenue would be to keep that crowd involved and hope that you do get one of these slip-ups that Kalen DeBoer's offenses have had in the past. Have not had many this season, though.
New rule. If you promote a coordinator in-house that was last year's analyst that has not called offensive plays since 2016 and has not called plays in his history of his career at the college level, probably not going to go so well.
That's an oddly specific.
No matter how well he played with Cam Newton.
Hey, let's also not discount Shane Beamer's record when it feels like his name is on the line.
Back against the wall games for Shane Beamer?
Tennessee, South Carolina in 2022.
Little undefeated matchup for Shane Beamer, back against the wall guy.
I mean, he is known as the let's close it out strong guy. I mean, he's done it multiple years
Except for that one time Brett Bielema almost whipped his ass on the sideline.
Yeah. Less than a year ago.
Who you got in that one?
Bama.
No, I'm talking about the Bielema Beamer battle.
Brett Bielema.
Yeah, Bielema by a mile.
I don't know. Beamer strikes me as an ankle biter.
Bro, Beamer took an L to a bench. It ain't winning. Missouri at Vandy. By the way, I have a very, very vulnerable admission at the end of this national hour that I want to get to.
Interesting.
Mizzou at Vandy. College game day in town.
Yeah.
College game day in town. And don't call it SEC bias. Go give me another matchup that's worth watching this weekend.
Well, I've been told by Big Ten fans that both Illinois and Washington would be favored over both Vandy and Missouri. They have some mythical sports book apparently that I don't have availability to.
Yeah, where's the Pate poll on that one?
I don't know.
What's the Pate poll say about that one? Because that's just FanDuel's lines, right?
Yeah, like they're hypothetical.
Now? Because he has his own poll, and then he has the poll. That's just lines on a neutral field, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay. So now that his machine. What's his machine tell us about that?
I don't know. I'd love to know.
I would say that Missouri
it probably doesn't favor Washington and Illinois, though.
I would imagine so.
I would say that Missouri's probably at 2 disadvantages on Monday right now heading into this game. One, they don't have the gamer at quarterback. Diego Pavia is certainly that. I mean, the plays that he was making last week against LSU is the definition of gamer. And 2, they're not at home. Now, they overcame that disadvantage against Auburn, but it also had some effect on them. I don't know what you're going to kind of see here. I think that this will be a more defensive bout. I think that's how Missouri kind of has to win it. I don't think you're going to get into a 30-point shootout with Vanderbilt and win. So that's kind of the avenue, in my opinion.
We're about to test the I had a take the other day of you're not an SEC member until you sweat one out at Lexington. I also don't think you're an SEC member until you buy out half the seats at Vandy Stadium.
Ooh, that's a fair one. That's harder to do nowadays, but I agree.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU just did it.
They just did it.
But does Missouri have this type of juice? That's the question. I mean, I've never been to Columbia, Missouri. Okay, I've driven through the state of Missouri. I would imagine going to Nashville is probably a time for those folks.
And let me say this, too, and not to sidetrack the conversation too much, but Missouri, you're a top 15 ranked team right now. Your fans better treat you as such because you have no idea how long it's going to last. Because I watched a team that was ranked second in the country this past weekend have about a 60% capacity stadium and then take an L. So you better show up for your football team whenever you can and don't take advantage of it.
Who did that?
Miami. That stadium was empty.
I know.
Number 2 in the country.
Hey, but, we be sleeping on it. We're just haters. We just hate the U. I expect lots and lots of running the football in this game.
Yeah.
Lots of Ahmad Hardy, lots of triple option, lots of Vandy controlling clock, lots of we don't trust Bo Pribs, which, by the way, you guys owe me a big sock on the arm. Did he win that game? Or
He
did
didn't
they
lose
win that
it.
game?
He didn't lose it.
He didn't lose it.
I mean,
He tried, though, in the first half.
I would say he really didn't win it, though, either. That stat line didn't really indicate
I
that
thought
he did.
Zion Young won that football game.
yes, he did. 2 weeks in a row now, I've had Bo Pribula like, hey, go win us a football game, and he has not been able to deliver.
Has Zion Young taken Ruben Bain's spot as most dominant edge rusher in football right now? Over the last 2 weeks, there's nobody playing better football and more impactful football.
I'm going
than
to still
Zion
say
Young.
it's Ruben Bain because Zion Young does have the benefit of, we still have to worry about Damon Wilson right now.
Yeah.
And Ruben Bain's kind of doing that at another level on his own.
How does Vandy's offense slow them down? I think the best answer is make them read a lot of run fits. Get them hesitant at the line of scrimmage. If you're in 3rd and 11, you're losing the game. If you're in 3rd and 2, you got a chance. That's Vandy football, though.
For sure.
Yeah. So, do we have time for A&M, or should we get to this? We got a whole lot of A&M LSU previews coming up. I got a film study tomorrow. We got Paul Feinbaum at 4:30.
We can hit it quickly if
we
you
can,
want.
but I'd rather talk about this vulnerable admission because we got a lot in the local hour.
Okay.
Don't judge me. Okay? Seriously.
All right,
Don't judge me.
we won't.
I may or may not have seen the 19th shirtless photo of Lane Kiffin on social media and Googled my closest hot yoga studio.
The most concerning statement in that sentence was the 19th.
I mean, it's a hyperbole. I don't know how many it's been. But my man has definitely tightened his physique in the last year and a half. I'm done lifting weights. My career doing that is over with. I can only do so many push-ups. There's a hot yoga studio about 8 minutes from the house.
Hot yoga will kick your ass. I will say that.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that's a bad admission. I think the worst admission in that is 19 shirtless photos.
Again, hyperbole. I don't know how many he's taken.
Okay.
But there's been multiple on my feed. I've seen multiple shirtless photos of Lane Kiffin, including game day photo of him shirtless at a local Athens studio. Hot yoga in it. So I'm just saying, it tends to be working for some people.
Yeah, no, it's a great workout.
You know, I got some buddies on that Ole Miss staff that have definitely tightened their physique as well. You know who I'm talking about. You're probably watching. You were watching the other night, at least. You just took a shot. I apologize, bud. But yeah, I'm just thinking.
Super Chubs?
Super Chubs. See, that's why I want to do hot yoga, because I'm super chubby.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that after you were talking about shirtless Lane pictures.
But the buddy, for real? Oh, God, you just did that? Just an appreciation, Chubb, for the pick this past weekend, Brooks. Thanks for being you out there and making the first trip to Athens special for little man. That comes from Chase Langford. Chase had his young son pose in front of the tunnel, and we took a photo together. Young ball knower. Shout out to Chase Langford. We appreciate that. We appreciate good fatherdom around here. And that's good fatherdom, putting them on to the ball knower. We love that. Rodney Carey says, my sources indicate Florida upper management is ready to win and are looking Jeff Brom's way and has already turned down the UF job behind closed doors. Jeff Brom isn't Hollywood. They win games. Good take. Cardinals, not Hollywood, just game winners. More ACC wins over the last 3 years than Miami and Clemson. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, but bro,
that's a real fact.
Oh, I get that with like 10-2.
Jared Jones says, in last 25 years, which year has been best head coaching class in the SEC? I don't know. I was just eating the chips. I don't know.
That's a really tough question to answer off the top. I'm going to go 2010.
Rodney Carey says Bama dropping 60+ on the Cox this weekend. Book it now, unless it doesn't happen. Brought to you by Bama Bod Rod. Shout out to, do you call yourself Bod Rod? Come on,
Sick.
man.
Kind of sick.
Publicly? Like we admit to that? Let's go to the local hour.
Damn, I forgot to turn it in.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Bro, it's grab a hoodie and snuggle a big fella weather. There ain't no doubt.
I'm with you on the. I'm with you on the
grab the
first.
hoodie
one.
instead?
I'm
But
with
this
you on
is-
the
This
first
is
one.
when the big fellas eat. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got
This is when the big fellas can hide the folds under a hoodie. And that's big time dub seasons for the big fella.
That's
you
fair.
know?
But you're not that anymore.
I don't feel this as much. I don't wear hoodies as much, you know? Work too hard and eat too much like a dog to not be out here, you know.
You've reached enjoy all seasons physique.
Facts. I like that. Thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
You as well. You've always been there.
Oh, thank you. I'm still working on it, all right? Still
I'm
working
so
at it.
glad Georgia found a way to win that football game. My man's vibes are so high. It's making my job so much
Ha.
easier. You know what?
man.
Last week, a couple weeks ago, I was all upset about the streams performances. It's all your fault.
It's
if
me.
if I have a bad show, it's because your vibes are off.
Oh, my bad. I'll
You-
correct that.
You and my wife, I'm like one of those ships that needs anchors on both sides. My wife anchors me on this side, and you anchor me on this side. I need that. And you're just here to perturb me and make me feel like I need to work a little bit harder to win an argument the next time.
You're the one that keeps it steady in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. Cool.
Yeah. Welcome to the local hour. We got a loaded one for you. We got game reactions from the boys over here. Again, I dumped the clip, a whole 30 minutes on Sunday's show on this football game, because what a football game it was this past weekend between Ole Miss and them Georgia Bulldogs. I got film notes from that football game. We got defensive film study coming out tomorrow. Everybody obviously worried about that defensive side of the football. We'll talk about it tonight and show you tomorrow, but obviously we've already done our offensive film study. Over 18,000 views on that one already, probably over 20 by the time I just had this statement. So there is that. You guys have shown up and shown out for Mike Bobo's best performance of the season, Bobo Baggins, yet again. We got film notes on that. We will talk the Colby Young injury and, of course, the Gunnar Stockton performance at length. But, boys, I want your thoughts on this game this weekend. Like I said, I've already dumped my thoughts. Make sure you're in that thumbs up button in the chat. Boys, what did you think about this weekend's victory over the Ole Miss Rebels?
Well, I think most importantly is that I think we're now at a point where this offense is peaking at the right moments. Now, I know that this was against an SEC defense that isn't in high regard, maybe isn't considered one of the best in the conference or anything like that. But when you hang in there with a Lane Kiffin offense for 4 quarters and you keep up with him and you continue to score and score and score, and not only score at will, but you just make it look effortless. Like it's almost like every time Georgia touched the ball, it was, we're going to walk away with points, and we kind of know how they're going to do it. They're going to be able to march the ball down the field with the run, and also what?
No, keep going.
I thought you were like, hold on.
No.
Okay. So that's like having that type of confidence in your offense at this point in the season, that's a major win.
The only thing I was going to say is you said kinda. No, they did. I mean, apart from an OPI and a missed opportunity to London Humphreys in 2 minutes, they was going to put it in the box every possession.
Mm-hmm.
They were walking it for 4 quarters. There wasn't no – I didn't think there was ever a moment in that football game where it was like, Georgia just sputtered. Nope.
Yeah.
It was a 2nd and 26, and you might as well kick the field goal then.
Well, not
on
only
OPI.
that,
The closest they got to stopping Georgia was on the 4th and 2 when they thought they stopped Josh McCray behind the line of scrimmage, and that joker carried 3 defenders for a first down.
Got to be 242.
Jeez.
Got to be.
And by the way, it wasn't like there was ever a drive where it's like, man, the refs bailed them out there. Oh, wow, they got really helped by some outside circumstances. No, Georgia was just executing on all cylinders all throughout the game.
Or even a damn Ole Miss dropped a pick, missed an opportunity.
Right.
There wasn't even one of those. Was
You
there?
could argue that check down when they ran the Fox screen in the
You're
first
right.
drive.
To Dylan Bell.
That could
The
have been
flat
a pick.
defender did a good enough job to even get in on that.
Yeah, but I mean,
That ball was that ball was ripped.
Could have been a pick. That's the
Could've
only.
been.
That's the
Could've
only
been.
one where it was like,
There you go.
ooh, they got away with one there.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was not a moment where it was like, oh, Georgia's offense is getting supplemented by something. They had a fantastic offensive day. And by the way, I know we don't need to do it on the show. Like, there's no need for us to do it. But Mike Bobo can take a victory lap here. I mean,
Hey, that boy Mike Bobo, give him 3.
there is always going to be a sector of this fan base that hates him, that thinks that whatever something is going wrong in the game, like this has to be Mike Bobo's fault. But the best way to shut those type of people up and not give them anything to work with is to score on literally every single possession. And not just score touchdowns. Like you said, the only time they didn't score touchdowns were 2-minute last drive of the first half where you missed a read, and then the other one's offensive pass interference. Everything other than that, perfect execution, perfect play calling. I never felt like there was a moment where it was like, man, that's not the right call. I don't understand that.
Halfback pass. Did y'all question that one, or did you just question the results?
I didn't question it because I kind of said it would happen.
Oh,
It's also one of those things where it's like,
we nailed that analysis, by
Yeah.
the way. This is that I know y'all are still doing game
Oh,
reactions. I thought this was the most dialed I've had and we've had as a network since the TCU national championship. I mean, we nailed this one to a T, all the way down to the fact that eventually you'll have to boil down to play man-to-man.
mm-hmm.
And we said there was, 200 or 300 yards of total offense in rushing the ball in screen games.
Yep.
And we said there was going to be a Fox. And you said there was going to be a running back pass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good God. Dialed.
I also, correct me if I'm wrong on this
Ball
take,
knowers left and right.
I feel somewhat bad for Cass Jones because it feels like he's the guinea pig of when they run offensive interesting plays. Like, it's like, hey, we're going to run
He's the F around and find out guy.
We're going to run a tendency-breaking zone play on 4th and 1 against a team that we don't really run the ball with, a guy that we don't usually give the ball in short yards possessions. We're going to run a halfback pass with a running back that we've never trusted to throw the ball with. Stuff like that where it's like casual fan bases look at Cass Jones and every time he's in, something wrong goes on. Like, that's where I feel bad for Cass Jones at this point.
At this point, to me, if he's running the ball, it's to break a tendency. Right. It's to set something up later. Like, I know why he's in the game. He's in the game because he's the best third down option you have.
And he's one of the better pass pro running backs you have.
That's, in my, it's the whole encompassing.
Yeah,
Third
okay.
down's all encompassing.
Okay.
Can you pass pro? Can you catch the ball out of the backfield? Can you make it explosive when you get it? Like that's all encompassing for, are you a third down back? To me, you know who never mind. I was going to give him a player comp, but that guy was way too good. I was going to say Philip Lindsay. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me
Shout out
of
to the
Cash.
Broncos.
Yeah.
Another takeaway I have from this
Hold
game.
on, I want to
Go
add on
ahead,
to
Jim.
this because you said you wanted to give Mike Bobo's flowers. Absolutely. I think Stacey Searles
Literally what I was about to do.
needs to be added into this discussion because he was another name that coming into this season, everybody was on his neck of, oh my gosh, this guy can't develop, this guy can't recruit, this offensive line is horrible, there's no progress whatsoever, blah, 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 blah. Well, you replace 3 starters on the offensive line, you have 3 guys drafting in the NFL, and then this year, not only do you see improvement, but then you also have 2 guys from this past year's recruiting class who are playing great football for you right now, have bought you time while Ernest Green is rehabbing an injury, have been playing hurt. Monroe Freeling is playing like a first-round prospect like we thought he would. Like, this offensive line in totality has just been a major bright spot of this offense. And while some of that can be accredited to probably Phil Rauscher, the guy that they brought in from the NFL this offseason, Stacey Searles deserves a lot of credit for what he's done on the recruiting trail and what he's done with this offensive line.
That Phil Rauscher guy is a football-only guy. That dude comes out of the tunnel and don't say a damn word to a soul. He's holding this play sheet the entire time. He's got his headsets on, and he don't say nothing but nobody but players in the middle of the game. That's it. He is locked in.
Business as usual. Jay, I want to give some stats to kind of back up what you just said because I completely agree with you. Georgia ran the ball almost 50 times on Saturday, 49 carries, 4.5 yards per rush. They had 3 plays that ended in a tackle for loss. Just 3. 0
One
sacks.
of them was just a bad keep by Gunnar late in the football game.
Correct.
To create that 2nd and 12.
Correct. And then the other one was a halfback pass. So it's not like you're out here, man, offensive line had a rough day or they had to overcome things. Go watch the offensive line performance against Ole Miss last year. Night and day difference. So Stacey Searles certainly deserves his flowers. And 0 sacks. Now, some of that can be a credit to Gunnar Stockton because of what he does with his legs. But it's not like he was escaping dirty pockets the entire day. Yeah. There were a couple of times he missed some opportune sacks. But still, he was throwing from a relatively clean pocket all afternoon.
I do want to say this as we continue to talk about this game of Gunnar Stockton throwing sidearm was an out-of-body experience. Didn't even know that was in his bag at all. And once I saw it, I was like, oh, wait, this guy is evolving. This guy is developing. This guy is figuring it out like we thought he would, like what we had kind of seen every single week when we come in here to break down the tape of this guy is continuing to get better, continuing to see things better, continuing to build on his confidence. And I think this was the first game of his entire career where it was like, this dude put it all together. I mean, he made all the throws that you wanted him to. He ran the ball really well. He continued to show advances there as well. Like, this guy's pulling away from SEC defenders, defying angles, all that stuff. Like, most complete game from Gunnar Stockton. It's at the point of, like, he's only going to get better. Like, we're still, like, what, 8 starts into this?
It's my first film note. I know you guys still got stuff left, but I want to add on to this and not come back to it later. We left the Auburn game, and I talked about that being his most promising performance. It wasn't his best. It was his most promising. That was his best performance this past weekend. That's as good as he's played all year, and it was building. It was building to that, and I think we still got room to grow.
I was saying, by the way, we left yards on the field. We have a missed Oscar Delp in the first half. Obviously, the London Humphreys play that.
You talking about the 3rd and 4? I don't think that's a miss. I don't think he's in the progression. And we can go to the board right now. And
no. I'm talking about the I can't remember if it was a hole shot when they had too high.
You're talking about when he was wide open.
Yes, when he tried to squeeze in, he throws it above his head, and Oscar.
That's cover 3, a seam shot. Yeah.
Okay.
We missed that. That's 30-yard chunk left.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about the one the NFL draft doofy put out. No, he's very clearly running a clear-out route on 3rd.
The 2 ones where I was like, that is a Gunnar Stockton miss, was the Oscar Delp throw in the first half, the London Humphreys miss, and then the Noah Thomas rip, which, again, like we said, I don't hate that throw.
I don't either.
That's a completion if you throw it inside and underneath.
Also, it's just a great play by the safety to speed turn and get back into it.
Correct.
It's the right decision. The safety commits to the dig.
Correct.
And then speed turns right around and gets back into the high post. Like, it's a good play by the safety. So, any other thoughts on the game before we get into film notes?
Oh, I've got couple more thoughts.
Keep going. No. I want all of it. I want to exhaust all the talking points here.
I want this takeaway to be given before because I think that it is very important to mark this down. Georgia fans, you had, I think, less than 48 hours to kind of orchestrate this striped Sanford thing. I know that there were rumblings of it earlier in the week, but it did not get the official green light from the team until Thursday afternoon, I think. Yeah. It looked fantastic. The engagement for that was really good. Of course, there were a couple of pockets. I know they gave the student section white T-shirts on that. What?
Never mind.
What?
I thought Auburn might have lost a 5-star commit. Continue.
Oh, okay.
It looked fishy.
But no, going back to what I said, you had such a short notice for that, and that striped Sanford looked really good, especially from the aerial view. I was in the box the entire game. It was very impressive to see. Secondly, that's probably the loudest environment I've been in at Athens. I was there for Tennessee in 2022. I was there for Alabama this year. I was there for Georgia Tech in 24. All of those stumped it. And it's not like Georgia's defense was really giving you reasons to be loud. We talked about it against the Alabama game of how, when teams keep converting 3rd downs and scoring touchdowns, it's hard to be loud and rowdy. They made an absolute difference in the 4th quarter.
I never pull my phone out to take video because it doesn't really do us any good. You can't tweet it out until after the football game. It serves me no purpose. I can't put it on YouTube without ESPN getting in my crap. It serves me no purpose. I don't have rights. I'm not a TV guy. I had to pull my phone out on that first 3rd down they actually got a stop on because it was the loud, like you're saying, it was the loud. I tweeted it. I felt it. 4 or 5 people standing next to me felt it, and it wasn't confirmation bias. That's the loudest I've heard that stadium. And you're right. They had no reason to be loud. They had to continuously get up on their feet and get after it, and they did exactly that in the middle of a 3rd quarter where they had to get a stop, and I thought it played a major, major role.
I just want to make which that's great about the stadium environment. I always, for me, I wasn't at this one, so it'll always be 2022 Tennessee until otherwise. But knowing if it got louder than that, that's an unreal environment, in my opinion. I want to make this final point before we get into film notes, and it's about the defense, and I see the chat is already hitting on all the
before
things.
You do, I just want to say, I feel like for the fan standpoint, there is sort of somewhat a disconnect where fans feel like media members like us and the people who tweet from the box and like, oh, this is what the student section looks like today. There's always kind of a disconnect, and the fans feel like they're getting scolded. So I, as a media member and a fan, want to personally say, hey, hell of a job on Saturday. That was elite. That's what great fan bases do. That's what championship fan bases are. So great job to y'all.
Mm-hmm. But I just want to talk about this defense for a little bit. Maybe provide like a little bit of perspective. And this isn't me like excusing the performance this past weekend because we know like it wasn't a great one. I mean, you gave up 35 points. That's not the standard that you hold this defense to. That's certainly not the standard that they hold themselves to in that building. But I mean, kind of putting into perspective, like the opponents that this defense has had to face halfway through the season of Tennessee, Alabama, and Ole Miss now. Those are three of the best offenses in the SEC, not named Arkansas and Texas A&M, I would say. But those are like the three best offensive minds, I would say, in this conference right now, of Josh Heupel, Kalen DeBoer, and Lane Kiffin. You had to face those three. You went 2-1 against them. I think you would have taken that in the offseason had you said, like, you go 2-1 in those matchups. Heading into the back half of the season, you only have one loss. I think you take that. So the process was not pretty. I get that. I know it was a strugglesome performance, but, I mean, you had the ugliest performance you probably could have had against Lane Kiffin and that offense, and you still found a way to win. Like, I think that's the best thing you could take away from it. So, again, not excusing what happened or anything like that, but just kind of putting that into perspective of you face the best offenses that you will face this year until the playoffs.
Yeah, I have a less optimistic view. I still think, obviously, you trust Kirby Smart, you trust Glenn Schumann, you trust the talent on that field that they will eventually get it figured out. But this is the third team that you've played in conference that has essentially been perfect on third down through an entire half. This is the fourth time your defense has found you in a 2-score deficit because, one, they're getting marched down. I mean, and yes, they've played some really, really good offenses. Auburn did it as well. And Auburn was not good on third down. Auburn was not a good offense. Auburn was none of those things, and it still happened. So there are red flags everywhere for me on this defense. And I think the thing that for me is what's so frustrating about it is it's not like you're not a good defense. It's not like you don't have the capability to be elite. You held Bama scoreless in the second half. You held Auburn scoreless in the second half. You put Tennessee in a blender for the handful of the second half. Now, some explosive plays like Tennessee always does get that, and you shut down Ole Miss in the last 3 drives of the game. I think they had, 10 to 12 total yards on 3 drives to close that game out. Like, this defense has the potential to be elite, but for some reason, every day we come here on Monday and talk about, man, that's probably the worst you've played ever, and blank. And I think it's getting very old at this point, and it's getting more and more troublesome because you keep playing with more and more fire, and it keeps coming closer and closer to, man, how about Kirby Smart's championship DNA to win that game? It's great that you have it, but I'd like to see you stop playing with fire.
All right, let's talk about that. Was your takeaway leaving the game too. I mean, that was your walk and talk point. It was like you keep playing with fire, and I'm with you. Eventually, it did bite you against Alabama. I'm not. It's bit you twice in the last 2 years against the Tide. They play the first against the Roll Tide. There you go. Whoever is in the chat, get me to say that. I said it. Contract obligated or contract stipulation met. But it's gotten you bit a couple of times. But let's start the film notes on the defensive side of the ball. I was going to start with the good. Let's start with the bad. The good news is you handled their run game from an explosive standpoint and did not allow them to spit too many big-time explosive runs. That's good news. Hell, apart from the missed tackle on the hitch, I think you kept them from having any explosives. Tight end might have hit you for 19 a couple of times, but you make a tackle on – if Dalen Everett makes a tackle, they are walking the football all game, and you're forcing them to do so. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the most explosive football teams in the sport. That's good news. Now, I know you don't feel that way because you hate getting the ball, watching the ball get walked, but that's the reality. All right, they're a great football team. You'd rather make them walk the football bend and hope you don't break late in the possession. Now, you didn't get off the field. That's to be talked about. Let's talk about that right now. The first possession of the football game, I think, is a microcosm right now of this defense. This offense is filled with guys who are making plays. All over the tape, if you watch what we broke down on offense today, you'll see it. Whether it be London Humphreys making a big-time catch on third down, whether it's Lawson Lucky turning around, pirouetting, making a big-time catch, whether it's Zachariah Branch winning a one-on-one, whether it's Dylan Bell flipping the field on 2nd and 12. Offensively, you got guys making plays when their number is called. Defensively, you do not. And that first drive is an exact example of that. First third down, if my memory serves me correctly, y'all got – man, I can't believe I wiped this. First third down.
It's 3rd and 8.
It's 3rd and 8. Man, I had all of this in my head. Let me go back to my film notes. This is what happens when Brooksy tries to remember too much. First third down, KJ Bolden's got an opportunity to knock the football out of Caden Lee's hands. Doesn't get it done. Second third down, CJ Allen has bad eye discipline. Tight end slips into flat for an arrow for a big-time first down. The third down of the football game is in the red zone. Chris Cole's got an opportunity to get the quarterback down on the ground. Free hitter, spins out, sack, or scramble for a touchdown. Those are the first 3 downs. So I did get it back. All right, KJ Bolden got an opportunity to make a play on the ball. Does not. First down. CJ Allen, bad eye discipline. Doesn't get off the field. Hey, we got an opportunity. Free hitter. We're getting home. Spin out. Touchdown. Those are 3 of your arguably best players on the defensive side of the football not making plays. That's what that is. And I thought it was a microcosm of that for the next 30 some odd snaps in the first half until you ultimately played man-to-man and got up off the field.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly just, in my opinion, what is wrong with this defense and what is lacking from what you've seen the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, holding everything up against the 2021 defense is going to be impossible to do because of as many first rounders there were. But there's not enough havoc creators on this defense. And you look back at the past few years, I think back to a guy like Tyke Smith in 2023, who was always around the football, who was either getting strip sacks or getting interceptions.
This was supposed to be 4, is what you're describing. KJ is supposed to be this.
Mm-hmm.
KJ is supposed to be this type of playmaker in that secondary. Jonah Aguero is supposed to be this.
And they're not playing bad at all.
They're playing winnable football. But nobody in the secondary, apart from Dalen Everett, I feel like is playing difference-maker football, and that's a problem.
And I think the reason you're seeing so many offenses walk it down on you is because you, as Georgia, have basically said, we're going to just wait for something to go wrong for you because it always has. We've always had the players that will make the plays, that will create the pressure that will force an errant throw or get the strip sack or strip the ball or get a sack, something that will force you to play behind schedule or mess up, and it just hasn't happened yet. And it's why teams have been able to continuously go through their operation as planned.
I do think that one's a little bit of an outlier because of who the play caller is over there.
That's fair.
Like, you know, if you watched what you haven't been in here yet. We haven't filmed it. I keep thinking if you've watched the film study, we haven't recorded it. I watched the defensive film today, and the amount of times that Lane Kiffin is standing at the sticks. Mm-hmm. Oh, we did record it today. The amount of times that Lane Kiffin is standing at the sticks with his headset down, telling the quarterback where to go with the football in zone coverages was the entire first half, and they're just 8 yards in a cloud of dust to the point where Georgia's like, screw it, we'll go cover 0, we'll go cover 1, we'll play man-to-man, and all he can do is rub us, so we're going to play off, we're going to play catch technique, and that's what happened the first play of the second half. I do not like when fans are sitting there just overly criticizing the outcome and not realizing why the decision was made to do what they're doing, right? The whole first half is Lane Kiffin in the headsets telling the quarterback where to pick apart zone coverage, and they're just moving the football methodically down the field. You can't get up off of it. So to start the second half, what do? 2nd and 10, every 2nd and 10 we watched on the film study in the first half, they're not calling explosive plays on 2nd and 10 was Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. You were in zone coverage because it was a passing down, and they're checking the ball down, and you're giving up 8 yards. Now it's 3rd and 2, and they got quarterback run. You're not getting off the field. So the second half, the first 2nd and 10 they get in, what do? You pressure and play cover 0 because the other alternative did not work in the first half. And yeah, Dalen Everett misses a tackle and they go 76 yards. And now all of a sudden you're tweeting at me 900 times going, what the hell is this defense? That defense is an attempted answer and ultimately what got you off the field late in the fourth quarter. But we never come back with that one. We only come with the criticism of the 75-yarder. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like that's coaching in a nutshell, right, to be honest with you. I thought you ultimately made the adjustments late in the football game to get off of it, to get off the field. Pass rush late, ultimately got home, pushed the pocket, kept him within it, and that made him throw from within the pocket, and he can't do that. He's not great at that.
And that's the havoc that I'm talking about, to where you don't let these players play on time or play through the progressions. We are in an age where basically any competent offensive mind can scheme up defenses so long as everything goes as planned, so long as Jalen Carter isn't running through the center's face, creating havoc up the middle, so long as you're not getting a Tyke Smith who's flying all over the field, creating issues and closing windows faster than you can account for, so long as the list goes on and on. I don't think that Georgia has the guy on defense who has stepped up yet to create the havoc. I'm not necessarily questioning the scheme. I think the scheme has always been fine.
33 is playing great ball. Quintavious Johnson's playing really, really well.
He's playing very, very good football. And I think that the next level of that would be playing havoc, creating football.
Or just Chris Cole finishing.
Yeah.
That also as
I
well.
mean, good Lord.
I didn't want to specific.
He's got 4 or 5 sacks left on tape this year.
Yes, he does. And
Now, he's new to this,
Mm-hmm.
so there's that. Like we're not used to getting home. We're used to covering and tackling an open field. It's a little different when we got to rush, you know. So, hey, I want to take a quick break to give a shout-out to our friends over at Lucy's Breaker. You guys know me. If I'm vicing with quality. Head over to lucy.io today. Use promo code FGN. You'll get a 100% deposit match. Tonight, I'm on that apple cider. Been on that apple cider for a couple of days now, and it's good stuff. We love this stuff. Lucy Breakers, they got this poppable little tab in here, all right? And it's what really hammers home the flavor of this here apple cider. Listen.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's why they're called Breakers, Kirby. Lucy Breakers, promo code FGN, 20% off your first purchase today. Again, Lucy Breakers, promo code FGN. Shout out to those folks. We love vicing with quality, and we're always vicing with Lucy Breakers. Let's flip over to the offensive side of the football, unless y'all have any more questions about these here film notes.
No. Not on the defense side, no.
Let's see if I missed anything. Dalen's play on third down was a big win. Doesn't happen if Trinidad Chambers doesn't spike a ball to the tight end. By the way, a naked winner into a cover 3
Yeah,
zone.
that was
the guy's wide open. Again, Lane dissecting defenses. That's because what he does, he's going to tear up zone coverage. Every football team we've watched all year ends up going into man-to-man coverage against this guy because you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't sit there and let him dice you up like that. I'd rather play 50-50 balls. We watched it in film study. You were conceding 9 yards of reception in zone coverage. So, yeah, why not just risk 15 yards worth of a defensive pass interference? We're changing a net delta of 6 yards in worst-case scenarios. Best-case scenario, we dislodged the ball. That's what you did. That's how you won. What's up?
I also felt like his throws downfield, especially on seams, were not accurate.
I mean, dude, he's a great football player. He has limitations like they all do.
Yeah.
He's 5'9". I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard to consistently throw the ball accurately from that pocket. Let's move over to the offensive side of the football. I told you Auburn was his most promising performance at quarterback, and he showed growth and willingness in that football game. Willingness turned into the ability to execute on Saturday. That was the overall arcing point for me. He was also, Gunnar was part of the reason why you rushed for damn near 6 yards a carry. It felt like to me you were absolutely bludgeoning them, and I thought Gunnar played absolutely perfect, minus the London Humphrey miss in 2 minutes. Like he's rolling right. London Humphreys is butt naked in the end zone. We got an opportunity for a touchdown. The fact that we missed it ultimately made us be conservative on third down, call a screen play so we could protect the field goal. But other than that, man, like you guys were 100% dialed in that football game at the quarterback position. And I'll go ahead and jump to it. I thought Lawson's 3 touchdowns were the exact definition of both Mike Bobo's excellence as a play caller and your quarterback's ability to transcend and really execute what is being called, right? And execute it at a high rate. The first touchdown for Lawson is a truck toss Y leak. I mean, that only happens because the defense has been absolutely consumed with stopping the run. Like, y'all have overcommitted to stopping the run, and now we're going to smack you in the face with a Y leak. Like that, yeah, great job, Gunnar, executing the play call, but that only happens because of the offensive identity, right? That only happens because of the offensive success leading up into that point. All right, the second touchdown is a Fox switch release screen. It's a fake screen. It only happens because your coordinator had spent the first 2 quarters making sure the defense was absolutely terrified of Zachariah Branch with the ball in his hands behind the line of scrimmage. That only happens, right? Great job executing the play, but it only happened because of the coordinator. What's up?
Quick correction, you have those 2 mixed up. The first touchdown was
football brain. You get what I'm saying? RPO slant, the last one. Again, overcommitted to the run. Great execution of it, putting it on the body of the big-bodied wide receiver. But that's all great play calling, great job making them be overcommitted to the run, great job executing the game plan. That's all of it right there, and I thought that was the definition of that game. I've already talked about it with regards to the defensive's lack of playmaking. But this is what this offense has been to me. You want to know how you score 43 points. It's not just 21 to 26. It's not just 5 total touchdowns to 5 incompletions as a quarterback. It's your guys picking you up. And I don't know if this happens last year. As many stones as we have thrown at this wide receiver core, as an analyst group, as a fan base from you guys, everybody, questioning these wide receivers. They're making plays right now. London Humphrey's catch on third down was massive, getting in front of one on a dig route. Lucky's catch on pirouetting back. We've already talked about it. Humphrey's catch on another dig, on the sideline, scramble, sliding, getting a knee down. Branch's catch late in that football game against man-to-man coverage. The seam fade. Tremendous opportunity winning one-on-one. Dylan Bell's play on 2nd and 12 to flip the field. Guys, these were plays that this football team was consistently unable to make last year. And they made them all in this football game. There was not, apart from maybe one going off the fingertips of Oscar Delp, there was not a single ball that went in the air Saturday where I felt like, damn, y'all had an opportunity to make a play and didn't. And you know who talked about it? Lane Kiffin talked about it after the game. They made every play and we did not. 34 first downs. How does that happen? You make every damn play. They made them all. And I think that needs to be continuously talked about as long as they continue to do this, because I felt like this wide receiver core did this last week against Auburn. I felt like they did it against Tennessee. I felt like they have continuously made play after play after play when this football team needs them to do so. Another football player playing consecutive weeks of great ball, Nate Frazier. Nate Frazier has gone – it's been, 17 games at this point in his career. I felt like for the first 14 of them, every time I watched it, it was like, damn, son, we left yards on tape. I have not felt like that the last couple of weeks, and we've gone overcoached with the ball security. It's been great to watch. It's been great to see them continuously trust him. It's been great to see him not only protect the football, but grow as a runner. Like, that's awesome to see from a young football player. I felt like he deserved his flowers. Also deserving your flowers. Number 71, Ernest Green.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't play high-end flash football. He does not play first-round football, but he plays consistent football, and that's what they need. They don't need all the flash in the world. They got that from 73. They need somebody to eliminate the opportunity for the young guy to make a young mistake. That's what 71 does. 71 gives you A- execution and A+ effort for 4 quarters. And that's winning football over there, right?
That was one of the notes I actually wanted to make was, like, his return needs to be celebrated because it provides you so much insurance up front on the offensive line of knowing the fact that, yeah, we have Juan Gas and we have Monroe Fielding that are playing great, but we can also slide in Ernest Green, and we don't have to take Juan Gasson off the field. We can slide him in, or we can keep Donnie Glover on the field if we want to, and we can put Ernest Green out there.
Late in the fourth quarter, they gave Micah a breather and put Dontrell at left guard,
Sure did.
Juan at right guard, and Ernest at right tackle.
And Kirby talked about that in the presser of how this was the freshest he felt his O-line had played that game. And there's always the talk about, this combination has played X number of games together, or they haven't. I think that's overplayed a bit, simply because the bodies that Georgia rotates allows for this offensive line to keep fresh. It allows for you to lean on teams late in games.
Georgia's offensive line units have always been best when they play 7. You know, I felt like back in the day, like Jamari Sawyer and Cade Mays were rotational players on this roster before they played.
Right.
You know, Tate Ratledge was I'm going to spot start and then I'm going to be the guy type of swing player before he was the dude. Xavier Truss did this for years, right? Like, they're their best versions of themselves when players 6 and 7 are NFL players, but they can't crack the lineup. That's where they're at right now. And they're executing at a really, really high rate. I didn't mention it in my notes, but you mentioned it earlier. Their ability to handle stunts right now, they have been coached up so much better in the run game. That Ole Miss game last year got to a point against stunts and against run stunts where I was like, shit, guys, y'all just going to have to run end arounds. Y'all going to have to run toss sweeps. Y'all going to have to do stuff that's at C-gap and beyond, because you can't run up in that box between them tackles right now. Every time a team throws a stunt at you, we got a defensive lineman standing naked at -2. And that is no more. And I think majority of that is because the center handles most of it. The center, Drew Bobo, did such a good job Saturday handling nut stunts and ton stunts that they were gashing them left and right on Saturday. That was obvious. That was the most complete offensive football game they've played since.
I would go TCU.
Maybe Tennessee.
Yeah.
Maybe Tennessee.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still had turnovers against Tennessee, and you got sacked 4 times.
And you had a turnstile at right tackle. Most consistently dominant, and you punted a couple times in that football game. Most consistently dominant performance you had offensively since
Florida State. Florida State, 2023.
Doesn't count.
I would go with maybe the 2023 Ole Miss game.
I went 2022 Ohio State. That's where my brain went Sunday when I
2023 Ole Miss was pretty clean and dominant.
Yeah.
I would
That's
go.
right. That was that home game. Y'all scored 53 or something like that.
Yeah.
I would go that.
Kendall Milton was ripping runs left and right.
Yeah.
Like Carson Beck was dialed in. Ladd and Brock were good.
Far more quality opponent, though, we feel.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know? You played perfect apart from an OPI and a 2-minute miss by Gunnar.
Yeah.
I already talked about that. Handles stunts like an NFL unit. Lawson's 3 touchdowns, the epitome of the offensive performance. Those are the film notes. Any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
I do want to kind of entertain this because we talked about it at the start of the season of this is one thing we would love to see if as just Georgia media members, and that was a Georgia quarterback that is loved by the fan base.
Unanimously.
Is it safe to say Gunnar Stockton has achieved that thus far? Because I was thinking back to it. I can't remember a time where the fan base was this in on a guy 8 to 9 weeks into a season. The last time I think was 2017 Jake Fromm. And we all can kind of agree that as well as Jake Fromm played, he was not the focal point of that offense. That was very much a, hey, we've got 3 first-round grade running backs behind us. We're going to hand the ball off to them and rely on this freshman kid.
So Jake Fromm can never be mentioned in a quote-unquote unanimously liked conversation because he was booed off the field in his last home game.
Yes, and that's why
you can't do it.
But up to that point, from like the first season, Jake Fromm was universally loved.
Yeah.
That's what
this
I'm
to me clears.
Oh, for sure.
Clears. This guy is far and away the most likable player that they've had in a long time. I mean, Brock Bowers counts, but Brock Bowers wasn't the face of your program. He was just a unicorn. He was the best football player that there was. Meanwhile, you hated the guy throwing him the ball. At least a portion of the fan base did. Rushing to blame him for a loss. Now, we still got to wait to see that happen.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody blamed him for that Alabama loss.
There were people that were like, this Gunnar Stockton guy is not the answer. 190 passing yards, he's not it. We need something else. We need to see Puglisi.
But I think what you're hitting on is, first of all, this is him. This is what he is. He's impossible to unlike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as a human, as a person, anybody who's ever talked about him says he's their favorite guy he's ever been around. You won't find a human being on the face of the planet to ever say a bad word about him. So that is what he is. I think the other thing about him, and I think we're learning this, I don't know if this has always been college football, but I think this has really been hammered home over the last several years when money has become a major thing and teams don't play like teams anymore. They play like collectives of individuals. I think when I watched what happened last year with Notre Dame rallying behind Riley Leonard, I think when I watch what's happening right now at Vanderbilt with Diego Pavia, I think when I watch what's happening right now at Georgia Tech with Haynes King, I think when I watch Gunnar Stockton and Georgia play, I think there is an inherent value about this guy makes my whole entire team want to pick up their sword and go to freaking war and die today. And they are willing to do so because they're watching their quarterback do it. And he makes $600,000 or whatever he makes when everybody else at his position makes $3.5 million, and he's elevating everybody else around him at a much higher rate than the pretty thrower is. This stuff matters in college football, and it makes me happy that it does. I said on Sunday, I am not one of these guys that ever feels the itch. Ever feels the itch to ever go do it again. I don't care to do it. I don't ever care to put a helmet on again apart from a bit on this show. But that guy makes me want to go play. That guy makes me want to strap up and go die. And there's something about that. This is football. This is still college football. This stuff still matters.
Well, like all the intangibles that you're describing
Shit gives me the goosies just talking about it, dude.
I mean, every hit he takes, he pops right back up. He's back in the huddle. It doesn't even take a second to linger or anything like that. And even in the opportunities where, like, you have a right to be somewhat of a me guy right now, Gunnar. Like, you just threw for 5 touchdowns, or you had 5 touchdowns. You played the best game of your life against an SEC opponent at home. Like, you have an opportunity right now to be a little bit of a me guy and be like, yeah, like, I did that. I helped lead this offense. And it's never that. It's always like, look at everybody else. Look at what everybody else is doing. That's what it is. And the fact that he grew up a Georgia guy, like all that stuff, it just all intertwines together and connects together. And I think that's what makes him so likable, because it's someone that I know why you're grinning, and you're making me a little nervous right now about it. But
what do you agree?
People just love him.
I'm not gonna make you do it right now, because impersonations are a hard, pressurized thing to do live. I think you need to workshop it just a little bit. Yeah. We stumbled into one today. He had me belly laughing in here.
Oh, you've got the Gunnar?
Dude, he's got it.
Apparently, I nailed the Gunnar Stockton
Dude,
impression.
he's even got the facial expression. like the way Gunnar smiles through every word he says, he's got it.
But
we're not going to debut it right now. We're going to debut it.
I want to see it off air.
It's good.
But no, to your point, Joey, like he is, and I think it's so perfect that you went from, and this is no shot at Carson Beck. This isn't anything negative to say about him.
Oh, I got one.
I think it's so appropriate that you went from the quarterback who had 2 Lamborghinis to the guy who drives a 1984 Ford F-150, because that's literally what he is. He is a simple yet stocky frame that is built to take a beating. He's going to get dinks, dents, all of these things. There's nothing flashy about it. There's not a lot of people that will publicly come out and say, that is what I want on my team or in my driveway. There's no extra bells and whistles or fancy accessories. It's not the fastest, the biggest, or even the strongest option that you have, but when you absolutely need it most, it cranks up and it drives every single time like you need to, like it did on the first day you got it. It's the most reliable thing out there that you need, and it is what Gunnar Stockton is. And sure, you can go out and spend millions and millions of dollars on the fancy, schmancy, whatever it is, the big name, but that might not be as reliable. That might not be exactly what you need.
He drives a big truck.
I mean, like, and this is such a small detail, but for whatever reason, it sticks out to me of, like, even in it, like, pregame, that dude is always rocking a Georgia hat. At all times. He's in a suit.
Did y'all hear his favorite pregame music? Motley Crue.
Of course it is.
W.
Of course it is.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Fair game there.
He's got. It's always a Georgia hat. I don't know why. Right. That just sticks out to me. But like, it's always about Georgia. It's never about Gunnar Stockton.
I said this Sunday. I want y'all's opinion. I don't think they win that football game last year. I don't think they don't win the games that they've won in the way that they do. And the death, like staring death in the face matter. We are hard to kill. They were very easy to kill last year, I felt like. I felt like that team was easy to kill.
You didn't even have to do it at times. They would do it to themselves offensively. Like,
this team fights harder in person than they have since, I would say, 2019.
So
I didn't feel like those teams in 2021 and 2022 really had to do much fighting. Now they did at Missouri. They just beat the hell out of football teams. And teams were like, oh my God, we got to play Georgia today. That's the way it felt most of those times. But this team right here, man, this team will fight.
I don't want to discredit the things that last year's team did by giving because you're absolutely right. This year's team is the most resilient Kirby Smart football team I think we've ever seen. But last year's team was down 17-0 against Georgia Tech and won that game in 8 overtimes. And they did lose their starting quarterback in an SEC championship and end up winning that game.
I think the difference to me last year was, at least in person, I felt like those teams last year were waiting around for somebody to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the play was made, it's like, okay, now we can go get it. This football team's like, no, you're going to blink first because I damn sure ain't for 4 quarters. And that's the difference.
No, you're absolutely right.
Put it in this perspective of, if you had to ask last year's team of, outside of 2 plays to go execute every single offensive snap that you take to win this game, do you think that last year's team does that?
Oh, absolutely not. And that's not
I think
why
that's a difference in this game, is that the offense executed every single time outside of like 2 plays.
No, absolutely. Like, this team is 1,000% more resilient.
I made that about a team like ability to fight thing, but it goes even back to the playmaking. That team didn't play make last year.
No, it didn't.
They dropped every ball.
I think that's more of what it is, because last year they didn't roll over and die. They didn't roll over and.
I'm glad you pushed us into this discussion.
Yeah,
it wasn't a matter of we're not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fighting together. It was just y'all didn't make plays.
Yeah,
y'all did not execute, which kind of, I think that goes back to togetherness.
Sure, 100%.
I think it goes back to how connected you are as a football team.
1,000%.
How talented you are.
I 1,000% agree with that. I think that the difference in, just pick a game, the difference in this year's roster and last year's roster is London Humphreys catches that 4th and 6 ball. Mm-hmm. Or this year, Dylan Bell catches that ball too. Not granted, you had the lead, but who knows what happens if you go 3 and out there and you give Ole Miss the rock back with just a 5-point
possession
lead.
Game, yeah.
Yeah, like different moments like that, to where, like, I don't think C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson are punching that ball out last year. So stuff like that, the plays are being made, which was not happening last year nearly enough as it should have.
They may not have. Dan Jackson would have.
That's hat on ball.
He would have punched it out.
It was targeting. He was a cheater.
I do think
you got to clap that up, though. That was a great play. Oh, it's a great
Just
play.
pouring all kinds of salt in the wound.
Man.
I mean, both sides. We got Tech fans and Auburn fans in one clip. I mean, jeez, that's elite right there.
Woo!
I will say this. I think we do need to address the elephant in the room after
There's an
this
elephant
game.
in the room?
How big is
Damn, that's crazy to say about AI.
Whoa. Dude. That's crazy. No, I mean, let's.
My bad, bro. The joke was right there. It's nothing to do with you. You could be 110 pounds. I'd have made that one. Oh.
But no, I mean,
Layup.
the thing we have yet to talk about this game is that you probably have lost your X receiver for the season.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it seem that way. Colby made it seem
Oh, no, he
that
gone.
way.
That's it. He broke a leg, dude.
Fractured.
Hey, he fractured a bone in his leg. It broke it, did he?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's,
And I mean,
it's
I think that it's great you have Noah Thomas.
I was gonna say, you want some good news about this? It happened in game. This is good news for us as analysts. We don't have to sit here and question like, what are they going to actually do? How are they going to make an answer for it? We know Noah Thomas steps in. Dylan Bell's going to step in too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer. And the yards after catch, big body type stuff, RPO, like that's going to go to Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
I think we saw their answer in mid game.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
It's good for us from an analyst standpoint of we actually know what they're going to do.
And by the way, it's also good news that you have a guy who's you lost Colby Young midway through your season last year, and it was kind of like, well,
We're screwed.
We don't really have anyone to throw to on the outside perimeter right now, so that's a problem. Now, it also helps, again, going back to the point we made just a minute ago, it helps that Dylan Bell is now making those plays. It helps that Dylan Bell is catching those deep shots that you had. He looks like 2023 Dylan
And
Bell.
I mean, before Colby was even injured, I mean, you were showing the willingness of trusting to draw up those types of plays for Elias Williams. We want a 50-50 guy. We'll throw it up to 10 a couple times a game, or at least once a game. We'll give him an opportunity. Yeah, do something.
Get away with an OPI.
So you have options. I guess the question, like chat's kind of hitting on right now, is like, is CJ Wiley starting to enter into this conversation now? I mean, you have a bye week and another week before you play Florida. Sometimes it is the second half of a season that these true freshmen start to enter a role. Just, I don't know. You haven't seen much of them.
To me, I think they have to be very, very careful about allowing Dylan to get those breathers reps for Noah now, because that takes Dylan out of what's made him back to Dylan.
Right.
Like Dylan Bell's playing good football right now because Dylan Bell's doing kind of all of it, not doing one of it. Don't make him do one of it now on half of his snaps. Keep maintaining him and maybe grow CJ Wiley in this. Hey, Noah, we need you. If we take 65 snaps today, you're going to have to play 40 of them. Mm-hmm. We pay you a lot of money. You've been asking for the ball. Now, you haven't been demanding it because you've been a great teammate, but now's your opportunity. Don't be tapping the helmet. We ain't got nobody. Right. Ain't nobody coming for you because we ain't ready to play the freshman. And if we are, we only need to play him about 10 to 15 snaps a game. We don't need to be giving him 30 reps because you're exhausted. Right. That can't be the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I mean, it's a great thing that you got Noah Thomas in the transfer portal this year, because it was great that Colby Young was on the track that he was this season of, this is about to be the best season you've seen from an ex-receiver since George Pickens, and unfortunately it gets cut short for you. But,
man,
I mean, that guy was putting it all together this season, and it sucks for him, too, that he didn't get to finish that out and have the type of closing to his college career that he would have liked to heading in the NFL draft. But it's a great thing that you have another guy that has SEC experience playing that position, and he gets to close out the season for you.
How much – now, obviously, they're X body types, similar builds. They're going to play the same position.
Much different are him and Noah?
How much different is Noah Thomas from what Colby Young is?
Yeah, I mean, Colby's going to take a 3-step slant and run through a safety's face on 3rd and 7 and pick up a first down.
Mm-hmm.
Noah's going to go 7 for 109 with 2 50-yard explosives and 2 comebacks because he's made this corner back off and wetted down his leg from the speed. Noah is much more linear. Colby is a big-bodied receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, Colby almost has like a Z's skill set in an X's body.
Makes sense.
Z's are like burn the top off type of weapons, you know, like a KC Concepcion, but built to 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
That's what Noah is to me. I've always felt he's that. He's not a physical possession receiver. Mm-hmm. This is an explosive weapon.
So is it fair to say that now, I don't like saying this because it implies that Colby Young was holding back the offense, but is it fair to say that you're probably going to see an even more explosive version of Georgia's offense now?
No, I think you see Noah continue to run deeper routes, but all of the underneath yards after catch, possession type of opportunities go more to Zachariah Branch and Lawson. Not that you run them less, just that you have to give them to different people because Eight's not on the field.
Right.
Or, like, I think Dylan's great after the catch. I think he runs hard.
Yep.
But it's 2nd and 10. Now it's 3rd and 1 because Colby Young caught a ball at 4 yards and it took 6 people to tackle him.
Yeah,
How many times have we seen that happen this year?
Every
so
time
many.
almost. To touch
Every
the ball.
time. He's been an absolute SOB to tackle. I think that's the thing that you're going to miss. Not the explosive deep thing. Like, that's hit or miss by nature of the sport.
And Colby Young was, in my opinion, never really that. He had some very, very good deep plays, but I never felt like, man.
There's not a ton of separation on that flea flicker Saturday.
No, I wasn't like he's the 50-50 guy.
No.
Which, by the way, I don't even think you need to do a flea flicker there. I think that guy was so cooked in cover 3.
He's beaten cover 3 by the route. We talked about it in the film study. It's cover 3. He's got a post corner that's going to compromise the coverage. He doesn't even get bit on the flea flicker.
The secondary didn't even bite on the run. So
it's a win no matter what with ball placement and route concept, which is a perfect play call. Best case scenario, we get them broke off because they have bad eye discipline. Worst case scenario, the concept wins no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great play call.
Absolutely.
It's as good as it gets. I mean, that was another film note I left out. I thought, and we talked about it Sunday, I thought the opening game script was a maximizer. Like, that was the elixir.
Yeah.
Y'all want slow starts to be fixed? Here it is right here. Bang. That's a great opening winner script right there.
I would also say this. I feel like Mike Bobo feels more comfortable being aggressive with this year's unit.
Yeah. I didn't feel like he was
I don't feel like he was conservative last year, but I also feel like he was like, we really can't afford to be in second and long.
I've had a lot of conversations with them about their offense from last year because of some of the stuff that's been said about what's going on down there in Miami when they were going well. I mean, it was nothing but let's shit on Georgia on national television. And coaches and people in the building get defensive when that kind of stuff happens. So these types of conversations were had. They thought Carson Beck was their best football player last year on the offensive side of the football. And they called plays and gave him the freedom like that was that. And that's the way I felt when we watched him last year.
Yeah.
I felt like they put so much on his shoulders because he was the best player. Everyone else around him did not play to their standard.
It was, we're going to spread about 20 carries between ETN and Nate Frazier, and the starter of that game is going to get 15
And we're dropping back 40 times today.
Yeah, and we're going to let Carson throw it 40 times. I mean, that was every freaking
And even
game.
if we run, he's going to have the ability to check out at the line of scrimmage.
Yep. I mean, he had absolute freedom. It was very obvious.
So, no, the Colby Young loss certainly hurts, but I would like to see C.J. Wiley get some burn. But it sounds like, you're probably going to go with the veterans here. You always do.
Understandable.
Even if it means asking Dylan Bell or maybe even London Humphreys to bump out over there. But London's a Z to me, and that's the way he best plays. Now, I know he cross-trains and he can play them all.
Right.
But that's, that is what it is. I do want to go back to the fact that was the loudest I've heard that stadium. I think that needs to be reiterated here on this network tonight. That was insane. And I thought it was unfortunate that you were there early enough to see that they put white shirts over in the student
I
section.
did not understand that.
So, I mean,
I got intel on it. That's
so
why I brought it up.
It's a sponsorship thing.
Sponsorship, and it was decided months in advance.
Yeah, it's stuff like that when you have like I believe they're Coca-Cola shirts.
But here's the deal. And people in the building listen, so listen. Y'all need to get on board with this type of stuff. You know why? Because it's a merchandise opportunity. When the fan base says they want to black out the stadium, it doesn't mean you have to wear black jerseys, Kirby. If you want to keep the main thing, do it. But guess what you do? You give an opportunity for your entire athletic administration department for 10 days or 7 days, however long it is, to sell black merch, to sell black merchandise. Or to sell red merchandise or sell white merchandise or whatever the theme is, Bubba. We get an opportunity to band together and go make a couple hundred racks off of a fan base that is invigorated by something as goofy as a theme. And even though you're a football coach and you're all about X's and O's and the main thing, you know what else is the main thing nowadays? Them dollars. And you know this as much as anybody because you're a talent guy. And we can help you get some more talent if you just join the mission here, Coach. If you just get in on it and say, hey, I'm invigorated. Let's do it. White out Sanford Stadium. Black out Sanford Stadium. Go buy merchandise at the link of the store. And get behind it. You got an opportunity, man. That would be my sell to them.
I know this about both Penn State and Tennessee. Like, Tennessee decided their checkerboard in July. They announced it to all their fans of, this is the game we're doing it. Know exactly, like, and that way fans know well in advance, like, all right, I'm in this section. I know I got to wear this color. It gives you plenty of time. And then Penn State does the same thing. They announce their whiteout well before the season. So everybody going to that game already knows well in advance. So I credit them, though, for at least like buying into it. Like the fact that the Georgia football Twitter accounts, social media accounts announced this, got on board with it, gave the fans an opportunity to showcase that they will buy into these things and that it is something that they can do. I think that is great.
It was 97% participation on Saturday.
Oh, definitely. Like that was why I was so impressed with it. It was like when it
on a Wednesday too.
When they first announced it, I was like, this is going to be a flop. There's no way that within 48 hours this fan base is going to coordinate that. They can never agree on, blackouts or redouts or anything like that. I was pleasantly surprised by it, and I agree with both of you guys of like this is a perfect opportunity moving forward, and I think that Georgia will take advantage of it moving forward. I think Saturday was a perfect litmus test of if we tell the fans to do it, are they actually going to be able to pull it off? They passed with flying colors, so I do think you're going to get, hey, for 2026, this game is going to be a striped Sanford game, or this game is going to be a blackout. Themes for the fans to do. You don't have to do anything with the jerseys. I know that that's a major point of contention for Kirby Smart, but it is nice to see, and it does increase fan engagement to a degree.
It's October 20th. Last thing I'm going to ask you guys before the show ends tonight. If I set the line at 1.5 on the number of coaches with all of these coaching changes that are going around in college football, if I set the over at 1.5 amount of coaches that left this roster this year, would you take the over?
Does this include analysts?
No. Position coaches only.
I'm going to take the over.
There's only a couple of names I can think of.
It's Schumann, it's Hartley. It's I mean, Trey Scott said he'll die here.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about that one.
I don't think you have to worry about Bobo.
Don't have to worry about Searles.
You probably got to worry about one of those underling offensive line coaches because you got 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the nature of the position and the history at Georgia for this position, coach of DBs like Dante Williams, those guys.
They cycle through them.
They cycle through them.
He seems happy, though.
He does seem happy. And again,
I'll
that's
tell
why.
you what, I've seen the last 4 that they cycle through. They didn't look so happy. Now, Fran Brown never looks happy.
And that's why I wanted
that's just him.
That's why I wanted to preface with saying, like, that's just because of the history of that position on Georgia staff. Like, they cycle through those guys. But Dante does seem happy.
Yeah.
So I'd take the under. They have retained a couple of years now, though, and that's very unlikely.
I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing such turnover. It's because everybody held on last year.
Yeah.
Everybody held serve.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody's like, damn.
Now we
probably
got it.
shouldn't have held serve.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy stinks. We need to get rid of him. I think there could be some opportunities for guys that they didn't think were going to be on the table for them, is why I asked.
Yeah.
For their
everybody
staff?
says,
For their staff?
I mean, for everybody's around college football. Like, guys, South Florida's going to be open. Nebraska's going to be open. There's going to be jobs that guys didn't get fired that become open because they get hired. That's how this process works. What?
People in chat are making suggestions that I vehemently disagree with.
What's that?
I'm not going to put them on blast.
Let's get to Super Chubs. Hunter Lacey, a big fan of Christian Kirby, says we lost 8 defensive starters from last year. This is the youngest defense Kirby's probably ever had. Stop living in 2021. I'm sure the D will figure it out. Good, positive thinking right there from Hunter Lacey. And I agree. You can't expect.
No, yeah, that's what I said. You can't keep comparing.
I wonder if they've even moved their standards. They say standard for elite defense is 13 points per game. Do you think they've moved that to like 16, 17?
It's a good question.
I'll ask. No, I won't. No, I won't.
Kirby
Really?
gave up 35.
Has the standard moved, Coach?
Has the standard changed?
Are you guys conceding defeat on the defensive side of the football, Kirby? Are you just okay giving up walking touchdowns? What say you, Coach? Somebody tweeted at me and said, I am done with the Film Guy Network if you don't go in there after this game and ask him if he's going to make any changes on the defensive side of the football. You still here, buddy?
Right, what?
Hey, it happens, man. It happens. You know what else happens? Loaded week of content here on this
No
network.
doubt.
Absolutely slammed.
They
There
haven't
might be
even gotten the Georgia studies.
I know. Well, they got one of them. They're going to get the other one.
You're right.
They're going to
got
get the other one
offense. They're gonna
tomorrow.
get the other one tomorrow.
It's going to smack them in the face at 9 a.m. You better show up and be elite. Sorry for your employers. You ain't getting nothing done tomorrow. You're going to be sweating that Georgia D.
Come on. It's intentional at this point.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
stick to the rivers you used to.
I want no scrubs. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Some other guys references to close the night.
Well, we usually do a little bit of an outro.